Good rising. Good rising. How is everyone doing this fine Moonday morning? It is March 27th, 2023. Excuse me. And it is coffee talk time once again. How are y'all doing? Nobody chatting in Rockfin yet, but excuse me. Oh my goodness. You'd think I hadn't talked at all today. But I did. And I've also already finished like almost my second cup of coffee. And I just want to direct your attention to Flat Earth friendly meetups at the beginning of the show. Because that's important. It's important for us to have meetups. It's important for you guys to get together in your local areas where you live, make friends, be together, talk face to face. Online's fun. Don't get me wrong, I do it all the time. Online is great. It's a great way to make that initial connection, but there's nothing better than being with your people face to face. Looks like everyone has the day off work basically in Israel. Well, it is around the appointed times, right? Easter, all that good stuff. So they probably have the whole week off. Or who knows? Because usually what they do, and like if you follow the Torah, which is similar to what the Jews do, but it's not exactly the same. But the Torah, there's three very specific appointed times, and they're like a week long each. Say good rising to you all you fine people chatting on over there on the YouTubes. Jameson Kimbrell, Aisling 717, Brian Stavely, National Memorial Gardens, Melodome, Tom Budos, Shiloh Carpenter, Dr. Backass Words, Rob Cleveland, Three Fingers, Alpine Endeavor, Logan Cook, Matrix 1, Flighty 915, Spicy Sarah, Kelly F.E., Flighty 915, I already said that. Rasta Bear, Wojnik, Kelly F.E., Unindoctrinated, Ginger Ridge, Conspiracy Music Guru. Hello from Spain, dude. You know what? That stream you did with the show with Jim Brewer, which was pre-recorded and all chopped up, I'm just gonna say I was paying attention. I know you guys had words that did not make it to the live stream. And I just want to say, where is that part? I want to know what Jim said. What you guys talked about that didn't make it on the stream, because clearly some stuff was cut out. I'm just gonna say. I mean, I know they edited the F-bombs. Right? They edited out your F-bombs. But you guys were also there was parts where I could tell it started going towards certain subjects, and it just goes blip, cut, right? Like you say you don't remember it. Now I'm just disappointed you don't remember it. Buzz Aldrink, that's hilarious. What a great name. Ted Summer, Ted Summer. Logan Cook. Vividness 420. Yeah, Ardman. What's up? Lincoln Sharp Music. Yeah. Okay, sorry. I'm reading the chat. Let's talk about meetups. Okay, Shaking Hands with Strangers is a monthly meetup in Minneapolis. Contact Jenny Spark for updates on that. I don't have continuing updates or details about that, but if you contact that person, that lovely lady, she'll give you details, and you guys can go to the meetups that they put on in Minneapolis, Minnesota. What did I say before? I hope I didn't say something else. Jam in the Plain is coming up in Colorado Springs, Colorado, and that's June 16th through the 18th, 2023. That's going to be fun, I bet. A camp out on private property, and there's a guy there. If you go to the website and you click on this link, all the contact information is there. He's got his email there. He's got his phone number. He's got Telegram. So if you live within driving distance of Colorado, and you want to go to a cool camp out with a bunch of flatties, there you go. I think that'll be cool. And these are pictures from his property. So if you go in there, let's see. Yeah. I don't know what this it looks like a greenhouse maybe, but it looks like there's a play set. You know, there's lots of room to mess around, getting all kinds of the good type of mischief. There's also Tucson Hikes. Tucson Hikes is coming up. This is one that's going on April 1st. So if you're looking for like a geocentric New Year type of celebration or thing to get together with people for the real New Year, there's actually a lot of that going on. And that's probably why the Jews have the day off in Israel, right? Because this is like the real New Year. They tell the goy that the New Year is on December 31st, in the middle of midnight, when everything is dead ass asleep and there's not anything going on, right? But really the New Year is now, when they say April Fool's Day is. Fooled you, right? That's the joke. So if you're looking for a really cool flat earth event for the new year, since I haven't been doing my solar returns, because it's a lot of work. You know what? I would like to do that again, though. I wouldn't mind bringing back solar return. It's a lot. It's a lot, y'all. I think I tried to do too much at one time, and I had to just focus on Flattoberfest. And then, you know, hopefully it can expand later, but, you know, that's neither here nor there right now. So, April 1st, Mount Wrightson Summit near Patagonia, Arizona. Generally considered a challenging route. So, you know, this is for like you outdoorsy types. This is for you athletic, outdoorsy types. You know, go have a nice challenging hike. Go to the top of a mountain. Observe the beautiful flat plain. Sounds fun. And also on April 1st is Shelley Ohlers celebrating the new year in Melbourne, Florida. This one sounds really cool too, y'all. If you're in the Florida area, then there's going to be a lot of really cool, great people at this particular meetup. There's going to be a lot of South Carolina people there probably. There's going to be a lot of the people that if you've gone to any of my past Flattoberfest events, I'm sure there's going to be a lot of people there that are, that have been at the events. So, you know, be that kind of vibe, which is like a great vibe. One of the best. So, there's that. Then, let's see, was there another April 1st one? Yeah, okay, let's go to, there's in Florida, there's another April 1st meetup. This one looks like it's like an afternoon meetup, Booker Creek Park, Saturday, April 1st, 2023, from 1 p.m. to 4 p.m. in St. Petersburg, Florida. And they have a meetup site. So if you're closer to this area in Florida, so there's Melbourne, Florida, and St. Petersburg, Florida, both going on the 1st. Okay? So once again, lots of flatties in Florida, because Florida is flat AF, right? Flat AF. Who all in here is going to those? I bet you there's some people in chat. Hi, Joelle Lynn. Good to see you. Yeah, man. What? Thank you very much to whoever gifted me a subscription. That was claptrapism. I can tell you right now. The same guy bought a shit ton. A shit ton, which is a scientific measurement, by the way. A shit ton of subscriptions for people. And then I did do a subscriber stream last Friday. Where Conspiracy Music Guru was awesome, kind enough to join us. And so did Ben Balderson. And we had a nice little chat. So if you missed that, you can go in there and watch it. There's also a couple of other things in there. There's Anarcho-Veritistas, which I still have to do the second episode. Because, you know, I'll be honest, you guys. I'm sorry that it takes me so long to get those out. I freaking have just been focusing on trying to get this event going. I'm telling you, man, sometimes it's not easy. You gotta chase people down. You know what I'm saying? You gotta chase people down, and sometimes they don't get back to you, and then sometimes they're booked already, and it's just a pain in the butt. Like, that's the hardest part, really. Is getting that venue going. Yeah, baby, flat earther. I like that. I like that emoji. The flat gang and the flat earther ones. I like those. Those are fun. So that's what's up. Okay, so what's next? Okay. Then, on the 22nd, these are out of order because they're just kind of showing up as I've entered them because I put them up as people send them to me. So check this out. Ted Summer, my flat earth man, will be going on a trip across the plain, and he's going to be making a stop in Washington, Bellevue, Washington. And he's going to have a little meetup at a place called the Mustard Seed Pub and Grill. Grill and Pub. Whatever. Grill and Pub it says, but Pub and Grill, I thought that, whatever. On his old stomping grounds. So if you're over there in Washington, and I know there's a lot of flatties over there in Washington. There you go. June 11th. Flatty meetup at the Mustard Seed. 5 p.m. to midnight. All right. Then, Port Chester, New York. This is one where you're gonna probably see a lot of people because this is being organized by Alex Lowry and David Weiss. See, they've even got a little video here. Let's play it. I'll play it. Oops, I think I have my own site muted. I do.
Or joining every hour. Organizing a Flat Earth meetup has never been easier now that the Flat Earth Friend Finder has over 95,000 active users and more joining every hour. Just select your desired radius and broadcast your meetup details to all the blue dots around you. It's easiest to copy and paste your message into the broadcast window. Before sending, create a meetup group on the Flat Earth Clock app and include the details in the message. Recipients of the message can then go search and join the group for further updates. Nothing is better than when blue dots get together.
So there you go, April 29th. I don't know. That says TBC. I don't know if it's still to be confirmed or not. I think I'm pretty sure they're gonna do it. I mean, he's announcing it everywhere. Whatever. I like this picture right here. Oh, I like that. Go away. This right here. Whoever knocked out that old school map and then... That's cool. I like the way that looks. I wonder if Dave will let me have that graphic without him on it. Or maybe I'll have to make my own. I can make my own. I know how to do it. I don't need no stinking AI either. I don't need no stinking AI to do my artwork for me. I can do it myself. It's tempting to use it though because it does make really cool thumbnails. I guess if you don't, you know, but it just feels so wrong to just like blatantly exclude the human element like that. I don't know. Let's see here. Was there another meetup or was that it? Oh, Oklahoma also is happening. April 22nd. Oklahomies Hummingbird Hangout occurring Saturday, April 22nd, 2023. From noon till whenever. At Hummingbird Beach, located in Lake Eufaula State Park near Chicota, Oklahoma. So there you go, Hummingbird Beach, and Peanut Gallery will be there. All right. I think that's pretty cool. Hi, Ashley Knopp. Hello, Dave Hinkle. Hello, Mark. Chris, good to see you all. Alrighty. Stinking AI. Funny how the flat earthers are represented by a blue ball. Yeah, I think that's the irony of it. I think Dave meant it to be ironic like that. Yeah, I was wearing my flat earther hoodie yesterday, I think. Or the day before. I was wearing it. All three of them, I have worn those hoodies out. I wore them out. Easter, the calendar traveling holiday, first Sunday after the full moon after the equinox. Yes, exactly, Stephanie Martin. That's, I mean, that just goes to show you. Everything's based on the sky clock. Don't let them fool you. Karen B. Peter Jarvio will be at Michigan State University from Monday to Thursday this week. Come join him if you are nearby. Peter Jarvio will be at Michigan State University. There you go. F-Chat GPT. Yeah, well, I can do the picture thing. I'm not very good at writing. Although I do try to, yeah, I can't write. I'm not a writer. I'm very much more like visually oriented. Oriented. I like pictures. What can I say? Also, in case you hadn't heard, Flattoberfest is going to Vegas this year, October 21st and 22nd, 2023, Las Vegas, Nevada. All right. I do not have details yet. I know people keep asking me about details. I can't tell you where yet because I don't have my hotel code. I'm waiting for all my codes and stuff to give out so that when you go and you book all your stuff, you know, you get the right rate and you're included in the group. Okay, and I don't have that information yet, so I'm not telling you yet. And as soon as I have that information, I will let you guys know, and then that's when tickets will go on sale. Okay? So, check it out. I have my thing muted. I need to unmute my site. Hold on. There we go.
Gotta get you the fuck out of Dodge, man. We're going to Vegas.
What are you talking about, Vegas?
Vegas, baby, Vegas.
What do you mean, Vegas?
Vegas, Las Vegas.
I'm not going to no Vegas.
Yeah, I think, you know what, man? We're gonna go to Vegas and,
When are we going to Vegas?
Yeah, baby, Vegas. So yeah, October 21st and 22nd, 2 days.
We're gonna give Daddy the Rain Man suite. Do you dig that? We're going to Vegas, Mike. Vegas! You think we get there by midnight? Honey, we're gonna be up 500 by midnight. Ah, Vegas! Vegas, baby, Vegas!
All right, y'all. That's what's up. Are you excited? Are you guys excited? Guess who's not coming to Vegas? No, sorry, Voynich. Now, here's the clincher. Are they really going to get rid of the mandates on May 11th? They need to. They have to. So that's really going to make determine a lot of things as well. They need to lift those restrictions, man. They need to lift those restrictions. It's just too much. So, what does it say in the Bible about Passover diet? Why unleavened bread? Is it to do with yeast or fungus? You all come over here. I did go over there. I went to Amsterdam. I did. 2019. Actually, I would like to go back over there again. I would like to. I've talked to Zach about trying to set up something over there. You know, Iru does stuff there, but of course there was all the restrictions going on, but it's lifted for the most part over there as far as I know. How do you look it up? International travel. Where's that map? Ted, how do you get to the map that you always look at? Worldwide caution, just says caution, August 2nd. Anyway, I'm pretty sure that, for the most part, it's lifted over there, right? Every time I leave Vegas, I'm a drunken hot mess. Kayak. Well, you know what though? That may happen again, but in different ways. I mean, well, maybe not. Well, actually, you have a baby. Just got boosted, and then you can go. What? All right, let me see. What'd you say, kayak? Okay. Oh, here we go. Ukraine is under test and quarantine, and it's the only country like that? Everywhere else is open. Oh my goodness. Really? Look at that, you guys. So, everything's open. Pretty much. China, test and travel. Meh. Pakistan closed. Don't really want to go to Pakistan. Indonesia is closed, huh? No vaccine, no Indonesia. Libya closed. Shocking. Somalia. Yemen closed. Pakistan closed. Turkmenistan. Yeah, pretty much most places are open. Test and travel. Ugh. Panama open. Costa Rica open. Cuba open. Yeah. Not very many places are still closed. So let's see, no, not Ukraine. England. What do they call is it not called England anymore? What is it? What the hell is that place called? United Kingdom. See, then when you open it, say from there, they can't go to United States. Unvaccinated visitors can't visit. This is lame. Why? See, this has to change. Once this changes, it's on. So that's what's up. Me and Bigfoot are going to hitchhike to Vegas. Pilots and shoulders going down. Our strong men are weakened, and we don't know how many bad for years to come. No mandates here. A few angry farmers and rebellious FEers. Where are you at, Ardman? Oh, you must be in the Netherlands. I want to take my daughter to Japan. Yeah, you know what? My daughter wants to go to Japan too. And well, she did for a while. I don't know if she still does. Maybe she does. She even had the Duolingo app, you know, that teaches you languages. And she was doing the Japanese one. Which I thought was really cute. Really cute. So anyway, that's what's up. Belgium. Oh, okay. Which is next to it. Near it. And it's on like a duck suit on Nathan Thompson. Really? You guys want to look at the major headlines today? What's the major headlines today? What did you say there is? Let's see. How about this? Let's search contagion in the news. Because now the contagion is in the banks. It went from being in the air to being in the banks. The Fed should pause rate hikes, make sure financial contagion is behind us. World stocks swoon over bank contagion. You guys see this? Rates spark. Contained contagion risk puts hike back on the table. Falls on contagion fears. Contagion fears. Contagion fears. Crypto contagion that helped bring down SVB. What do you think it is about this word that they want to use it in everything as far as this? Like it's spreading like they really, I mean, it's just so weird the way that they put things into the psyche of the masses. Once you're paying attention to the words they use. It's weird, right? I'm going to open the phones. By the way, it is a call-in show. Same number as Strange World. 848-222-2480. So there you go. If anybody wants to call in, 848-222-2480. Just check my streams. Very good. Constant spell casting. Exactly, dude. Exactly. That's what they even call it, right? They call their stuff a broadcast. It's broad spell casting. Across the entire plane. Let's see. What else could we check for in the news? How about what's the news with the virus? Study found the C19 virus can alter the genome structure of our cells. Can it? Or is that the admitted gobbledygook poker thingy that they put inside that has mRNA in the title of it? Like it literally has, I mean, it's so crazy. People will go for it too. They'll believe it. Some of them will. Some won't. Some will see through it, but a lot of people will believe this crap. What you need to know about the killer Ebola-like virus spreading in parts of Africa. And there's a bat in the picture. Okay. Let's see what they're saying now. What is Marburg? What you need to know about the killer Ebola-like virus spreading in parts of Africa. The World Health Organization has urged African health authorities to be vigilant to the spread of the deadly Marburg virus following reports of a new outbreak in Tanzania and a slew of new cases in Equatorial Guinea, placing officials on high alert as experts in multiple countries scramble to contain the highly infectious Ebola-like disease for which there is no approved vaccine or treatment. Fruit bats are a natural reservoir of Marburg virus. Okay. Key facts. Highly infectious viral hemorrhagic fever in the same family as Ebola. The virus is initially transmitted to people from fruit bats and spreads among humans through contact with bodily fluids of infected people, according to the WHO. Illness begins suddenly and symptoms include high fever, muscle pains, bleeding, severe headaches, diarrhea, and vomiting blood. Marburg causes serious illness and can be lethal, with fatality rates from past outbreaks varying from 24% to 88% depending on virus strain and quality of care provided. There are no vaccines or treatments approved to treat the virus. Several are in early stages of development, though supportive care like rehydration and the treatment of specific symptoms can improve outcomes. Experts recommend people avoid eating or handling bush meat, or to thoroughly cook it before consumption, and to avoid caves and mines that might be occupied by bats to minimize the risk of catching and spreading the virus. Huh. Avoid caves and mines. Don't be trying to go find that rich stuff. All the rich stuff is for us. If you go there, you're going to get Ebola. That's what I see. Don't go looking for them pretty rocks. What is bushmeat? Does anyone know what bushmeat is? I mean, it sounds like a porn from the 70s. I don't know. Sounds like TV. The bird flu is super scary. You should really be afraid of it. Yeah. Sow division amongst your enemies, start rumors, stand back and watch them destroy each other. Making up religions and or diseases is particularly useful. Yes, actually, that's true. Sounds kinky. Human meat. I mean, it sounds a little bad, right? Like, what is that? News peg. Tanzania announced its first ever outbreak of Marburg virus in late March, reporting 8 cases, including 5 deaths. The announcement comes a month after Equatorial Guinea confirmed its own outbreak of Marburg, a first for the Western African nation. New information released by the WHO in late March indicates the outbreak in Equatorial Guinea is significantly larger than previously thought, and the distance between cases hints at a wider transmission of the virus. Dun dun dun! So far, 9 cases have been confirmed, with laboratory sides including 7 deaths, and there are 20 probable cases. Okay, whatever. This is... African fruit bats host the virus. What? Here's what... I don't think it's even a virus. You know what I'm saying? Like, if there's anything like this, it would be a poison or a bacteria. The WHO confirmed the virus had spread to the country of 1.6 million people. Blah, 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 blah. Universal Images Group. So this is just some generic stock. Most of those pictures are. Big number, 88%. That's the fatality rate of the Marburg virus, according to WHO. By comparison, the death rate from C19 is 1.1%. I mean, look at that. The difference right there. 1.1%. They just want to try to scare us no matter what, like any way possible, right? And I'll be honest, this Ebola, this flesh-eating crap, years ago, it used to freak me out. Right? But now, I'm like, again? It's so stupid. You know, it's like how do you, I mean, and then it's all in this weird remote place, and they're like, ooh, it's from bats. Like, how do you know they just didn't poison a bunch of people, and then they had a little breakout, and they were like, oh, look at the flesh-eating virus. You know what I'm saying? It's fucking bullshit. I just don't buy it. I don't buy it. I'm not buying what you're selling. Like, reminds me of that Incubus song. Right? Researchers isolate exhibiting ultrapotent neutralization of Zika virus. Oh, now they're going to try to bring this bullshit back again? Let's see. How scientists identify a virus. Oh, that should be funny. Should we read that? I bet that's a hilarious read. What is the Marburg virus? Another country reports on blah 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 blah. Zombie virus. Scientists have revived a zombie. Okay, this one I gotta read. What is this? Lame-o shite. Scientists have revived a zombie virus that spent 48,500 years frozen in permafrost. Well, that sounds like a great idea. The potential, now they're warned about the potential of zombie virus. Scientists have revived a zombie virus that spent 48,500 years frozen in permafrost. This is a computer-enhanced microphoto, blah, 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 isolated from a 30,000-year-old sample of permafrost. How do they know it's 30,000 years old? See, they don't even know. How do they even know this stuff? What are they getting these numbers from? There's the number, any number that they see that is like, it's a total rectal extraction. They have no fucking idea what any of this stuff is from or how old any of it is. Warmer temperatures in the Arctic are thawing the region's permafrost. Oh, here we go. Global warming is going to bring back to life the zombie virus. That's what it is. A frozen layer of soil beneath the ground and potentially stirring viruses that, after lying dormant for tens of thousands of years, could endanger animal and human health. While a pandemic unleashed by a disease from the distant past sounds like the plot of a sci-fi movie, scientists warn that the risks, though low, are underappreciated. Chemical and radioactive waste that dates back to the Cold War, which has the potential to harm wildlife and disrupt ecosystems, may also be released during thaws. Oh, so, okay. Come on. There's a lot going on with the permafrost that is of concern, and it really shows why it's super important that we keep as much of the permafrost frozen as possible. Oh, okay. And Kimberly Miner, a climate scientist at the NASA Jet Propulsion Laboratory at the California blah blah blah. Permafrost covers a fifth of the northern hemisphere, having underpinned the Arctic tundra and boreal forests of Alaska, Canada, and Russia for millennia. It serves as a kind of time capsule, preserving, in addition to ancient viruses, the mummified remains of a number of extinct animals that scientists have been able to unearth and study in recent years, including 2 cave lion cubs and a woolly rhino. What? Hey, Bob. Still looking for evidence that viruses exist. Exactly. You're not supposed to question the existence though. Like legit, they will give me an STRIKE for that shit. I don't care though. Fuck these censoring bastards. Like, you know, it's all being swayed by the government too. And that's the whole thing. That is a violation of free speech. When it's government that is dictating what can or can't be said, that's a fucking violation of free speech. A government's not supposed to censor your fucking speech. Hell no. That's the last person they are not, you know, it's supposed to be for the people, by the people. They're not supposed to tell the people what to do. The people tell the government what to do. You see what I'm saying? So these platforms, you know, while they say, oh, it's a private company and they can censor and do whatever they want. Like that's the shield they hide behind, right? But really what's happening is the government is dictating to them what they can and can't allow on the platform, right? Because they're all in cahoots together. These big corporations, lobbyists, you know, career government fucking crooks. I mean, that's all they do, right? So, whatever, dude. I'm just gonna say whatever I want to say. I will try my best to say it in a way where I can make it last as long as possible. But you know, realistically, they don't want people telling you the truth on these platforms. They really fucking don't. They don't. It is, right? Hi, Earthica. That's what's up. Number one rule against government. Exactly, right? Oh, I was going to answer that call. Somebody had called, but then you hung up. Right when I saw you. All right. Well, the number to call in is 848-222-2480. So, you know. Whoa, what's this thing here called the virus hunter? Claverie studies a particular type of virus he first discovered in 2003 known as giant viruses. They are much bigger than the typical variety and visible under a regular light microscope than a more powerful electron microscope, which makes them a good so just like everything else, the viruses were bigger back then. Okay, see, now, I don't know what kind of bullshit is going on with these things that people find in the ground, right? Okay, so clearly people everywhere are finding these fossils of creatures in the ground that we don't necessarily know what they go to. Okay, you can't deny this. Now, what are these creatures? Are they dinosaurs? Probably not. But was there some sort of like, you know, who knows what kind of stuff was going on, you know, back in the day before the flood, you know, the abominations, the creatures that, you know, the things that were talked about back then. To me, it seems like there was all this craziness on the plane, right? All these weird creatures were being chimeric creatures, or Nephilim were messing around, and, you know, where you'd get like the head of this animal and the body of this animal and whatever kind of freaky deaky stuff was going on. I mean, I don't know. Maybe it's giants. But you know how they say like that's part of that everything was bigger, you know, that's like part of the evolution story, right? So I don't really believe that, you know, I just don't believe that. Some fishy going on, man. History may be a mystery that we never ever solve. I mean, once you start, you know, getting into certain little niches and areas, you're like, man, how does this fit into stuff? Have you ever considered, since they lied about everything, why is it nobody wants to think about the fact that heaven is down? Oh, like that's part of the inversion? I don't know. There is no logic to their logic. NASA has a whiner. Dog the virus hunter. Yeah, exactly. Exactly, man. So anyway, his efforts to detect viruses frozen in permafrost were partly inspired by a team of Russian scientists who in 2012 revived a wildflower from a 30,000-year-old seed tissue found in a squirrel's burrow. Since then, scientists have successfully brought ancient microscopic animals back to life. What do you think about this sentence right here? Since then, scientists have also successfully brought ancient microscopic animals back to life. How do they know that they're ancient? You know, there's a lot of creatures on this plane that they go dormant when it's really, really cold, and then when they are when heat is reintroduced, they wake up. You know, like that frog that freezes over. It's like lives in the Arctic Circle and it literally freezes. And then when it thaws out, it goes back to being a frog. I mean, there's a lot of things that do that. So how do they know that these are ancient things? It could just be, you know, microscopic life forms that they haven't seen. Like, how do they, there could be so many things going, there's still so many things that nobody's ever seen or know about. I don't think anybody can know everything about this plane. I really don't think it's even possible. And then they just go, that just because they never seen it before, they don't, or nobody they know has seen it before, it's not documented in their database. They're like, oh, it's ancient, and we brought it back to life. Like, what kind of horse shit is this? Sea monkey invasion. I guess so, but such controlled opposition seems impossible. Seems something has been happening that we're not seeing, allowing this to continue to be successful. But there are microscopic animals. They're called tardigrades. Heaven is where the fallen fell from. In scripture, the word for heaven, let me look it up, if I recall correctly, is Shemaim. Let me see. Yeah, Shemaim. It's like the root for breath. Shoham. Anyways, Shemaim, the heaven and the earth. Let me see if I can. I need a different version of that word. And called the firmament heaven. Basically, it just means like the space between earth and up, like everything in the sky. Yeah, and then yeah, H064. let's see, Strong's is, yeah, Shemayim. Right here is the root word for heaven, right? Heaven is right here. 8064. Shemayim. Shemay. The second form being dual of an unused singular from the unused root meaning to be lofty. The sky as a loft. Perhaps alluding to the visible arch in which the clouds move, right? So it's where the celestial bodies move. That's the root word. That's what heaven literally means. It's where the celestial bodies move. So just going by what the root Hebrew word is for that, where, and it's defined as where the celestial bodies revolve, or where the, you know, that tells me that it can't be. That's not, I mean, I don't know. That's how I would go about it. So see, Shemayim, the heaven. I need to have Jack give me back my translation because I don't have it now, the one that he did. But anyway, so that's literally what the root word means. Be like water. Bible also says birds fly in the firmament. I don't know about that because the firmament, let's see. The firmament, I don't recall it really reading like that. Face go above the deep. Firmament. Rakia. Okay, so that's the word rakia. Expanse as a firmament, visible arch of the sky. Extended surface, solid. Flat as a base, support, expanse, flat expanse, firmament or vault of heaven supporting the waters above. Do you have a verse? I can look it up. We can straighten this out right now. Hammer, so rakia, hammer, like a sheet, pounding a metal as gold to hammer to flatten out for a metal sheet. So this is basically telling you that the firmament or the top layer is a flat metal sheet, or like a flat metal sheet, hammered out, flat metal sheet, which actually goes along with some stuff that we've been looking at, right? Let's see. Oof. As far as like the sonic levitation, right? Let's see if I can find that picture. I was just looking at it the other day. I've still got it. There it is. Right? So, like, imagine it like this, if you can see this. So this metal, there's a plate down here, this metal plate down here that's emitting a sound, and then the top is like a flat sheet, like a reflector. And what happens is this sound wave starts bouncing back between the flat plate and the plate above it, and it starts to create these pressure points, these nodal points, these pressure nodes, right? So where you see the red and the green, those are different pressure nodes. So that's kind of like what I think about now when I don't think about a dome anymore. The dome, you're only seeing the dome because that's how your vision works. That's how your eyes, that's how you see 360 degrees out from your point of view, right? So that's where the dome comes from. The apparent dome, personal area dome, right? And then the actual top would be flat, like so. And then possibly the if they are physical things up in the sky, which I don't know, they could possibly be riding these different pressure points, these pressure nodal points. You know, just imagine this bottom plate much bigger, and you know, and the same size as a plate on top, like the size of Earth, right? And then think about the proportions of that. So let's see. Started looking at before. Scale plane. So let's look at this. Okay, 1, but we'll make it much smaller. Okay. So I'll put this over here. Do you guys remember when not the other day or whenever, and I was looking at this? Right, so here's the plane. Well, I put in, this one has another level below it, but let's see if I open that screenshot. Let's see here. Layer. Right. So do this layer. There we go. So here I have my little outline that is still visible, but like imagine this, you know, wait, no, that's not the one I want to move, lock that. So this, like on the scale, so right here, you have your plane. Let me make this smaller. Right? Like that. What if you're, you know, so here's your plane. The green is the ground, the sky was the blue when I was doing this. But, you know what I'm saying? So like, but on a different scale. So you could have this, like this. And then, you know, so here's your earth plane, right? Here's your earth plane, and then here's your firmament, your metal plate. And then we all know that the earth has its Schumann resonance, right? The 7.8 whatever hertz. I don't know if that would be the sound or the vibration that is going between the two plates that could be causing it. I mean, I don't know. But we know it has its own resonance, and it's always on. So, I mean, it could be. It's just something to think about. I don't know. It could be bullshit as well. I just read that recently in the Bible about the birds flying in the firmament. I'll see if I can find it again, but yeah, it tripped me out when I saw that. Well, it depends also what version you're reading, because they change stuff. Let's see. What if this dome is shaped like the vector equilibrium cube tetrahexagon? Cube tetrahexagon. Is that really a thing? Oh, I have a caller. Thank you for calling Coffee Talk. You're on with Karen B.
Hi, Karen. I was going to say that last thing you said, that sounds a lot like what Witsit's logo looks like. I think that's what the person was trying to get at. But I'm screaming towards the fact that if they admit that they lied about everything and they had time to write all the books that we're reading, from the sources that I went with, they only told the truth on page 1 of every Holy Scripture. And if you read that alone, you find out that heaven is down, which is why they're lying in the first place, because the object is to get everybody into hell, whether they like to or not. And clearly you're not going to get people up there if you tell them, that going up is a bad idea, when they're going to meet the loved ones on the other side that are going to take them up. They'll be happy to go that way with them if they're under the notion that heaven is up. But if you think about that, if in the beginning all there is heaven and earth, and that means that there's nothing in the picture other than a snow globe, and if you take the pizza out of the globe, then all that's in the picture now, according to that statement, is heaven. Now, if you have to leave the firmament for any reason to get to heaven, according to that statement, you're making a mistake. I don't know if, like, after you drop dead, if once they suck you past the firmament to keep going up, if you can go back. But if you think about it, all of Hollywood is pushing go up, along with It's a Pretty Blue Ball, which helps people believe, that you should go up. But if you look at everything, like when you say a higher power, at no time does it say that that's a destination or a direction. It just means like a position of power. Not necessarily higher means go up. You mean if my boss was living downstairs, he's still higher up than me. You follow that?
Not really, to be honest.
Oh, okay. Well, it's something to think about, because if you look at why they're lying, everybody's going, why spend so much money on the lie? I mean, if you think about it, you've been lied to all your life that it's a pretty blue ball, but by the time you drop dead and get to heaven, they'll tell you, oh yeah, it's flat as fuck. I mean, you're only going to lie for so long, unless they don't want you to get to heaven in the first place, right? I mean, if it's all run by Satanists, why would they want you to get to heaven to begin with? And if they had time to write, I mean, the Bible is the worst one of them all. They admit it's been rewritten, God only knows how many times.
It's been translated many times, but originally it was Hebrew, ancient Hebrew. That's what I'm saying. And the ancient Hebrew, I'm just going by how it's translated. The other part of that too, though, is there's always going to be free will. There has to be some truth involved. People, to an extent, have to consciously decide to make, to have to voluntarily go that direction, right? So I don't think they can lie about absolutely everything. And I also don't necessarily think that heaven is necessarily like just a direction up or down. I think it's like a completely different manifestation, like it's a completely different dimension. You know what I'm saying? It's not like this physical world. I just don't imagine, once you leave your physical body, you're not stuck in a physical world where you're now limited to going up or down or whatever. You know what I'm saying?
Well, according to what everybody told us about the waiting room, which is where everybody gets to apparently after they die and then come back, they just tell us about the waiting room and nothing else. They meet their loved one that wants to go up with them. And according to Satanists, one of the jobs you can get is being an usher to help people go up to hell. But the choice would be when you walk up to what people call the pillars, I guess. The gates, and meet Saint Peter or whatever deity will be standing there, and the deity says, "Would you like to come in?" And if you say yes, there's all the choice you made. I mean, at no point is that deity going to say, "Do you remember stealing the candy bar when you were 5?" Stuff like that. The only prerequisite to getting into hell is, "Would you like to come in?" And that's all that they will stand there at the pearly gates and ask you. Once you make the choice of walking in, I don't think they actually described it to you. It's Hotel California. Once you walk in, you ain't walking out. I mean, they have to disclose everything. That, according to their religion, when Satan left heaven for whatever reason, he promised fair disclosure shall be provided. So Satanists have to provide you fair disclosure. They can disguise it like they do in movies and sci-fi and comedy, but I just noticed that page 1 is the only thing that they have to stay true to. After that, it's been translated by people who have money. And according to if you look at the bloodlines, it clearly tells you it's been only one family ruling the whole freaking world from the start. It always boils down to the ruling class, and they all go down to, I forget which king it is, but some king way back. They're all related to him. The American presidents, English kings, yada yada, all boils down to one king in England back in the 1500s, and they're all related. So if they're all related and they're all pushing a narrative, and their narrative is for you to get to hell, and they only have to tell you on page 1, and the rest of it they can make up. They had money to translate the books, and it doesn't take much to change black to white in 2 copies, maybe 3, I don't know.
This is why we look at the original Hebrew. That's why we look at the original
They haven't
Hebrew.
been fucked with. No offense.
Okay, well then just don't even read then don't even read it. Then what's the point of reading it? I mean, if you can say it's all been fucked with and it's only after page 1, but page 1 literally says, and he made the firmament and called it heaven, where the celestial bodies revolve. That's on the page 1. So even by what you just said, heaven is up.
But you're just inside the firmament. You're not outside the firmament. In the beginning, according to all of them, no matter which religion you go with, there was a snow globe with nothing else in the picture. Start with that, and according to every religion going, that's heaven and earth. Take the pizza out, there's heaven. Wherever heaven is, it's inside that snow globe.
That's what I just said. Heaven as defined as the space above the earth where the celestial bodies revolve. That's what I said.
Okay, but as long as you're not leaving the firmament with that story, you're okay. But according to what
you're talking about, the physical world. When you're dead, do you think you're still confined to the physical world? If your physical body is no longer attached to your spirit?
No, but I think that you're in a state
Then who cares about the firmament?
Some sort of shell shock.
No, I just don't understand what you're saying. Or at least, I don't know. Or I don't agree. I don't know.
Okay. Well, here's how I see it. Once you cross over, you're in a state of shell shock. The person your loved one that you're meeting, they've been there a while. So if they're going to guide you, whatever way they're going to guide you, if you're going to go along with it, you might want to know who it is that you're really hugging when you meet your loved one. And why didn't your loved one, according to that story, go up to heaven when they dropped dead? Didn't they? Why would they hang around waiting for you all this time? Picture this. When you drop dead, are you going to go, I got a few loved ones back there. I'm going to hang out here, wait for them instead of going on to heaven. I'll just hang out here waiting for my sons or whatever the story would be,
Well, listen, I don't know how it works. I don't know how it works. So,
well,
I think you're kind of assuming that it is a certain way, but I don't know that it is that way. You know what I'm saying? And also, I'm a chronic nonconformist. I don't care who's coming to meet me on the other side. If I think they're taking me somewhere fishy, I ain't fucking going.
Yeah, but if you've been told all your life that going up is a good thing, and here's someone who's dressed up as your loved one, and they clearly will look like your loved one and sound like your loved one.
So you're saying that once you die, you're going to be fooled by somebody disguised as your loved one, and they're going to take you to where they're going to tell you they're taking you to heaven, but actually they're taking you to hell.
Yeah, according to Satanists, one of the cool jobs you can get is
Okay.
being an usher.
Do you believe these
hell.
Satanists? Okay, stop. Do you believe these Satanists? And why?
You question everything, whatever they tell you, question everything. But in the end, if you dig through what they tell you, they will. There is some truth to what they have to tell you. They will try to shroud it with as much lies as they possibly can. But if you can talk to a Satanist and get them to at least talk with you, they will admit to certain things, such as that Jesus is completely made up, according to them.
Well, you don't even have to be a Satanist to think that. You don't have to be a Satanist to think that Jesus is made up.
No, Christians have a hard time with that one.
Well, of course they do, because they want you all to accept Jesus Christ as your personal Lord and Savior. That is part of the mistranslation. But that's part of the mistranslation. That whole thing is part of the trickery. You don't need a go-between person between you and the Creator. You don't have to pray to Jesus. You can pray directly to talk directly to the Creator. That's what the Creator wants, is a direct connection with the creation.
I know. The Jews always eliminate the middlemen. I know. But still...
What does that mean?
You gotta look, if you look at Judaism... Huh?
What do you mean the Jews always eliminate the middleman?
It's a Jewish joke.
Oh, okay.
As much, to basically get as big a cut as possible, you eliminate as many people along the way as you possibly can. This is
not the same concept.
What I was getting at is that even the Jews will admit that back in 1750, they changed the symbol of Judaism from a menorah, which apparently, according to them, was their symbol for 4,500 years, to the Star of David, which really, if you the Star of Ishram or Ephraim, I forget the name of,
Star of Remfram.
The Star Refram, thank you. Basically, it tells you that they have accepted a satanic symbol as a sign of their people. Why would a race? And then basically the Muslims used to pray to the city called Becca, and now they literally found that city, and it's literally 180 degrees from the direction of Mecca, and you don't even have to change anything. You just have to draw like a little number 5 under the word Mecca or Becca in their language, and it automatically becomes a whole new city. So why did their religion spin their head in a completely different direction? The Library of Alexandria, they will tell you that after they burnt all the books, they didn't burn the library. They burnt all the books. They fed all the books to the to the bathhouses, and the bathhouses kept going for 6 months. But they kept 5 books, which they even admitted we will never show to the public. Here are 5 books. We kept them, and you're never going to see them. That's it. So what's in the 5 books? I don't know. But
talking about the Torah,
after that,
the first 5 books.
I don't know which books. I just know 5 books.
Well, I know that the Torah is the first.
That they claim.
Yeah, the Torah is the first 5 books of Scripture. First 5.
Really?
Uh-huh.
Oh, maybe that's what they kept. The original.
Right.
The original religion.
Right, which is where I get my which is where I'm getting my definitions from. Genesis and heaven.
Right.
Okay.
But if I had, Karen, if you had 500 years and all the money in the world, and your goal was to fuck up the scripture, could you do it?
I don't know. I mean, how many copies are there? You can't
I'm not saying,
you can't
I'm
you
not
can't I
saying,
would have to eliminate every single previous copy.
right. If you could imagine King, if you, I'm just basically King James, made his freaking mandatory.
Mm-hmm.
If you think about it, there's everybody else's Bible, and then there's King James. If you want to worship the king, ta-da, you get his Bible. But at no time, by the way, do words like king, lord, or anything else point at your creator, which is a way of actually spotting something written by a Mason or a Satanist, which is really the same thing in my opinion. But they will never use the word creator. They will use every word in the book except for that. And a lot of people associate Lord and King or Savior with your creator, but that's literally making you literally look in a completely different direction for your salvation.
No, the word they
none of
take
it,
out is this one right here. Is Yehovah. That's the one that gets taken and changed from Lord, from the creator's name that he says is repeatedly in this book. My name is Yehovah, right? I am, or whatever. And they changed that over 6,000 times in the King James Version to Lord or God, which are both titles. It's not a name. It's not the name of the creator.
Very good. That's true. A lot of people might want to consider what you just said there, that God is not your creator. Satan proclaimed himself to be the one true God of hell once he opened up his happy kingdom. By the way, he's the only one with a kingdom. So wherever you see words like kingdom, you should be worried about what else these people want to tell you. There's still going to be some truth there, so you just got to dig through it. It's just a bitch. But that's pretty much it.
All right. Yeah. Well, thanks for calling.
Something to think about.
All right.
No problem.
Have a
Something
good day.
to think about.
All right.
I'm going down.
That's an interesting call. Thanks for calling Coffee Talk. You're on with Karen B.
Hey, Karen, Run Boston Bear. How are you?
Hey, Rum Boston Bear. Good. How are you doing?
Good. The timing on this call is crazy because I just barely turned on your stream and I heard y'all talking about the Torah and I was like, okay, this is cool. I know a lot of people, they think it's like just the first 5 books of the Bible, and I've been on this kick, like learning quite a bit. Recently, I've been learning that the Torah is actually every inspired word of God, and that there really shouldn't be a dividing line between the Old Testament and the New Testament, that it's really just the entire story, redemptive story of basically mankind being reconciled and brought back to the Father through the Messiah. So what's interesting is, how the Word became flesh, and people are like, okay, Jesus is the Word. I think Jesus is also the Torah. It's like the Torah, the Word, and the Messiah are all one and the same. And I learned all this at Kingdom in Context, Sean Griffin's channel. And it's confusing because being a churchgoer, like I live in the Bible Belt of East Texas, I don't think they teach that. They teach that the gospel is basically saying the prayer. Like, do you believe in Jesus? Say the prayer. Okay, now you got eternal life. That's it. And I've been learning that there's a lot more to it. Not that we have to do more. It is true that if you believe what Christ did on the cross, that he died for your sins, and that he is the way, the truth, and the life back to the Father, I believe that salvation is in that and that alone. It's not what you do. It's not what you don't do. There's nothing more to do. But what I'm learning personally is after you make that decision to let the Lord lead your life, which I've done that for like 14 years, And that's what's led me to all you guys and True Earth and a lot of truths coming out right now. But my learning curve has brought me into Sean's channel, Kingdom in Context. And now I'm realizing that the festivals and the feast days, like all these different events that happen off of the luminaries and the sky clock, no one's doing that. We're doing all the, the pagan holidays.
Mm-hmm.
And that kind of trips people out. They're like, wait a minute, you mean Christmas is rooted in paganism, and Easter and Thanksgiving and Valentine's Day? And it's like, well, yeah. And then people get triggered and they get so upset because they're like, but I love Christmas. Like, well, is that truly when Christ was born? I don't think so. I think he was born in September. But with the Torah, people, they want to believe that the law was done away with. Like, you don't have to do the feast or the festival days. You don't have to do Sabbath. But what I'm understanding is, like, it's a blessing that we're all supposed to rest together as, like, the human race across the entire plane. One day a week, we're supposed to hang out and have a meal and be grateful and just chill. But it's been grabbled. I think the deceiver, that's another deception, is that, we're not supposed to do that. And so when you start talking about Torah, people are like, oh, you mean like Judaism? And I'm like, no, it's not that. What the Torah is, when you take it into its entirety, I believe, is predating any religion. I think it's the behaviors of the Father. I think it's his eternal instructions that, are ungrabbable. I can't even say the word. Like, you can't corrupt that.
Mm-hmm.
When man's gotten involved and said, no, this religion, no, you got to do it this way, blah, blah, blah. It gets ugly, it gets nasty, you get confused, you get ego, you get people not understanding the truth. And I'm going to say right now, I have no idea if what I'm saying is 100% true, 60% true, or just wrong. I just think, it's awesome to be able to say, I'm not sure about anything other than love and light and asking the Creator to guide you, being humble, being like a child, saying, it's scary out here and I want protection. Please help me and my family to find the truth in the world, in, geology, minerals, spirituality, breathing, nutrition. When you break it down and you're humble and you aren't scared, you're going to do a lot better in finding the truth. But mine currently is picking back up these instructions of the feast and the festival days, Sabbath, and the food laws, which some people think it's crazy that I would do that. But I'm essentially trying for, maybe 6 months or a year just to live just like Jesus did and see if it brings me closer to God or farther from God. But anyway, that's my little ramble.
That's cool. I had not heard the Torah described like that. Like, I do my anti-religious scripture study with Just Jack every Saturday, and he's never described it to me that way. But that's interesting.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I like Just Jack. Just Jack came on Austin Witzett's stream when he was doing the Christianity stream. It was like a 5-hour long talk.
Oh, yeah.
I was on there. Just Jack was on there. And Sean came on. He had a really good closing, but they're called the Kingdom Crew. You got Kingdom in Context, Hanging on His Word, West Blaze Music, spelled with a K, and founded Earth Brothers. And honestly, listening to you and your heart and how you're just basically chill unless gammas come on and they're like triggered and just like being aggro, you've got a lot of light and love in you. A lot of people in the truth community do. Austin for sure, and then those guys in the Kingdom Crew, I've really found a lot of guidance. And I just think if you can fear not, like, drop the fear best you can, drop the ego, take deeper breaths, eat right, get some exercise, get in the sunlight, ground, get barefooted and ground. Sounds like some of this stuff is crunchy, but connecting to the earth, connecting to your breath, being at peace, and talking with people openly about your thoughts and not getting pissed, we're all going to do better as a human race.
Yeah, absolutely. Ooh,
I guess
11:11.
my last thing is, go ahead.
It's 11:11. Continue.
Oh, got to take a break. Do it.
Oh, go ahead.
Okay, so my last thing is, before, when I was just like a churchgoer and I claimed Christianity, honestly, I was judgmental and I didn't know it. Like, it was a subconscious judgment where if I talked to an atheist or a Hindu or a Muslim or Buddhist or whatever, or agnostic, any of that stuff, basically, if I talked to anybody that didn't think like I thought, I was judging them. I'd be like, oh, they're wrong. They're way off track. But now that I found True Earth and I realized how many deceptions there are, and I've met a lot of people that are truly confused. They're like, man, I don't know what the truth is. But with the pandemic and then True Earth really waking people up,
Flat Earth.
I think people are hungry for the truth. Yeah, right. I know.
Flat.
Right? Flat Earth. I mean, even with the title Flat Earth or True Earth, it can be either, can it? Without it being like annoying.
No, it has to be flat. It's Flat Earth.
I hear you. I mean, but
I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. You know, you can say True Earth, like, we get it, but I'm like, if you say that to somebody who doesn't know, you say True Earth to somebody who doesn't know, and they picture a globe.
Yeah, maybe. Well, the whole reason they tried to bring True Earth into it is because if you say Flat Earth, the people cut you off, and they tune you out, and they think you're an idiot, and then there's no more conversation to be had. If you say True Earth, and you're having, like, you're entering into the conversation to talk about what the Earth is, they don't shut you down, and you say True Earth, and they're like, well, what do you mean by that? I don't know. I think
yeah, but
that's the
then
reason
when
they're
you tell
trying
them
a
that it's
different
not a
angle.
globe and it's a level plane, you don't think that same shit's gonna kick in?
Yeah, you're right. Yeah. But to finish that one thought, hopping on Discord and being where I am today with the seeking and everything I mentioned earlier, I'm finding myself at peace with people that are different than me. And I can talk to anybody, and I don't have that underlying judgment, because really we're all just trying to figure it out. We're trying to be the best versions of ourselves, and most are saying, if there is a creator, I want to be shown the way. So I'm proud of what you're doing. I'm proud of your channel, how much work you put into bringing people together. And, you know, you definitely don't want the drama brought here. You usually have people that come and want to share their light and their wisdom or whatever they have to say. And you having a platform to give people a voice is awesome, just like Jaron's Speaker's Corner's awesome. And, yeah, I'm just proud of you. And thank you for sharing, you know, your heart, your light, and your truth.
All right, cool. Thank you for calling, as always.
Yeah, man. You have a good one.
All right, you too. Yeah, I know. I mean, come on. I know True Earth is Flat Earth. Flat Earth, the True Earth is Flat Earth. I just don't like saying True Earth. I'm sorry, I don't. It makes me think about a hippie food brand. Or like eco-friendly. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's just my opinion. Well, we have an anonymous caller. Hello, anonymous caller.
Hey, Karen.
What's up?
I gotta say, you've got one of the hottest voices I've ever heard. Would you read me bedtime stories?
Yeah, this is why I don't pick up calls like that. Whatever. And you would have to call and be anonymous. Like, you don't even have the balls to, like, show your name or your face. Like, You're just a fucking coward. It's so unbecoming. I mean, come on, buddy. Who knows exactly what shape or size? Flat is not a shape, it's a descriptor. Non sequitur, it is for sure not a spinning oblate sphere. I don't have to know what it, I don't know what the outside shape is. Oh, Jack's calling. What's up, Jack? Did you mean to call me? Jack? Jack? Guess not. Why don't you call the phone? Call the phone. 848-222-2480. Ted, I think he wanted you to tuck him as Ted. Okay, Jack's trying to call again. Hello? Jack. I don't know why Jack's shit's not working. I guess Jack heard us talking about the Torah and he wants to weigh in, but I have no idea. By the way, little third eye therapy right now. I think the call was meant to be a compliment just without context. Jack is on mute.
How about now?
Yes.
Oh my gosh. Yes, so it was resetting to my computer speaker, my computer microphone, which doesn't work. And then I had to shut it down, reattach the turtle microphone. Anyways, yeah, so I definitely was lured in by Alex Critical Inception, who was listening and said that there's, multiple calls about the Torah. So of course I'm going to chime in. As far as the
What's going
guy
on with
who
your
said the
camera?
Torah, huh?
Your thing, you want to turn your camera off, or what's flashing?
There we go.
There you go.
All right. So as far as you said you had never heard it explained that way. I don't get into it too much with the anti-religious scripture study because we're focused primarily on the Torah.
Mm-hmm.
But I am in agreement that the Torah was made flesh and that is Yeshua. Okay, so if you're following Yeshua, you're following Torah. There's no distinction between the two. And it is the beginning from the end, so the end from the beginning. I'm sorry, I said that backwards. And as far as like heaven goes, we've talked about this on the anti-religious scripture study, that heaven is defined as the unseen existences that are all around us. And I don't believe that heaven or hell is a place up or down, which, we've talked about that as well.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a changing of state of being. And as far as, if you read the entirety of the scriptures from Genesis to Revelation, there isn't an eternal damnation location. It doesn't exist. It's either you join with the creator, whose name Yod-Heh Vav-Heh means the existence that which is, was, and will be. You either become eternal or you cease to exist, as if you never existed in the first place. So that's my understanding on studying the scriptures. And as that other gentleman says, I don't know if I'm very right, very wrong, but as far as the scripture is concerned, it's contradictory to the theology taught from mainstream Christianity that there's this place of, hell and damnation. And the way that you can even verify it for New Testament believers is to read Revelation and see what happens to quote unquote hell, because it says death and hell are thrown into the fire. And the fire is the all consuming fire that makes it gone forever. And fire is never a good thing in the scriptures. People will talk about the fire that separates the purifying of the metal, but that's to burn away all things that are bad. So it talks about, when Yah says, I'm a consuming fire, he says anyone who's not getting on board with me, they're going to be burned up. And Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, who were righteous men, were not burnt up, and they didn't even have the smell of fire on them. And the New Testament believers will tell you need to be baptized with the Holy Spirit and fire. But if you read that the chapter and verse that talks about that, it's talking about John the Baptist. John the Baptist says, I'm not worthy to even carry his sandals, but there's one who's coming after me who will baptize you with the Holy Ghost and fire. But when you read it in Greek, that word and can be or. And if you read the context, the first verse says, the axe is laying to the roots. A tree who does not bear good fruit is cut down and thrown into the fire. And the verse after says, his winnowing fork is in his hand. It's like a rake that separates the seed from the grass. It says, the winnowing fork is in his hand. He will put his grain into his storehouse, but the wheat he will burn, the chaff he will burn with unquenchable fire. So fire is about complete destruction. So all these things about, heaven and hell and as far as like the salvation thing that gentleman was talking about, like the salvation thing is just accepting the connection to the Creator. As far as the commandments go, though, the commandments are the instructions on how to have a better life, to get closer to the Father, to be more connected to the Creator, to become, like, we've discussed, co-creators of this realm, because that's what we were designed to do. We were designed to be the ones who take care of this realm. We were supposed to protect it. We were supposed to be able to tell a mountain to go into the sea and it would go, as Yeshua said. He demonstrated this with a fig tree that was out of season. And he said, if you don't give fruit, you'll never give fruit again. And then the tree died. And the disciples were like, whoa. And he's like, if you had faith of a mustard seed, you could tell a mountain to go into the sea. So that's what it is to do the commandments, is to find the best path to walk with the Creator. The more that you detour from that, the more distance you get between the Creator and yourself, which is why the word sin comes from the root, the chord measure distance of off the mark of shooting an arrow towards the target. So the further that you get away from the Torah, the further you're off target from connecting to the Creator. I know that's a big rant, but there you go.
All right. Thank you.
Hope that helps.
Sure.
Bye.
All right. Bye. That's so funny. All right. Just Jack, y'all. Just Jack. The voice. You guys are live for ours? Yeah. Yeah, we do that live every Saturday. The creepy caller probably was implying that your voice would be well received to do audiobooks. Yeah, Mark Sargent still wants me to be still tries to get me to do ASMR, and I wanted to. I started to. That's why I have 2 mics, but I've never done anything with it yet. And I don't do it on this show because I have my stupid coffee talk music going in the background, and so I'm like, well, that's kind of like, I don't know how good that would work if, you have that going on. Like, I got shit tons of forks on my desk. Like these 2 right here are, this is the Schumann resonance. Actually, I could do this because you don't even really, it's not even a sound, it's just a frequency, it's a vibration. So, because it's going in, it's like binaural, right? So your brain picks up the difference between these 2, and the difference between these 2 forks is The Schumann resonance. It's very pleasant. It's actually a pleasant vibration, a pleasant feeling. I like those. All right. What else were we talking about? You guys don't want to keep talking about scripture, do you? I mean, I'm not against it, but, you know, I know it can be kind of like meh to some people. A lot of people don't care. They all think it's just something to control people. And definitely, Rockfin comment says, for me, they are all storybooks made up by man to control others. Now, they are definitely used for control when they change their, the translation. That's one thing that I've learned over the past, I don't know, it's probably a year and a half now that we've been doing those anti-religious scripture studies. We go chapter by chapter and translate it all. And it's very, that's one thing that blew me away in the beginning, was how much the translation of just one word inside of a passage can change the entire meaning of something. So definitely, if you're reading the King James version of the Bible, you're being programmed a certain way, for sure. You know, there's actually another version of the Bible that, Vegas, baby, Vegas. Oh my goodness.
Vegas, baby, Vegas!
Vegas, baby, Vegas. Fork that desk. Hey, Ben. Hail, Ben. The 10 Commandments are rules for a society. Jesus, his commandments are life. I feel like that comment, by his words people shall be saved. By the problem is his words are not conducive to today's way of life, so they go into the Old Testament and find that those rules are basically easy to live with. Get yourself the first Greek translation of the Latin Vulgate Bible. Or there's another Bible that I just came across. It's called the Geneva Bible. The 1560 Geneva Bible is supposed to be like more literally transliterated. So I'm thinking about picking up a copy of it. The Geneva Bible. Because I saw some chatter about that, and that it was like people were reading it and they were like, no wonder, you know, because supposedly the 1560 Geneva Bible is the Bible that like the Puritans came across the Atlantic when they left and they came over here, that whole escaping for freedom of religion. What they brought with them was this version of the Bible. It was the Geneva Bible, and it's a lot closer to the original translation, kind of like how when Jack and I do it, we read from the scriptures. It's called the Scriptures 2009 translation, but this 1560 Geneva Bible is supposed to be the closest to the original. Yeah, the 1560 Bible was different, but the church and the state both despised that one. Why? You know why? Because the church and the state become irrelevant if you read the scripture for what it really says. Seriously. That's why. This is why. This is how it's used for control, right? Because they want you to remain faithful to the church and to tithe and to give your money over to the church and be loyal. And the same for the state. They want you to be loyal to the state and do what the state says. And tithe or tax, right? It's taxes. They want you to pay your taxes, right? And so if you read the scriptures for what it really says, the church and the state become irrelevant, right? This is why I love to say that Jesus was an anarchist, because it's about being responsible for yourself. It's about being sovereign within yourself and using your brain, thinking for yourself, doing good things because that's the right thing to do, and not doing bad things because that's the wrong thing to do, and making decisions of your own accord, thinking about things before you do them, making amends for things that you do wrong, helping others when they need it if you're able to, the volunteerism, like all that shit. You don't need a fucking church or a state or anything to live that way, right? Like, that's why it's like, when the last week on our show, we were talking about Hotora, like they call it a law, but it's an instruction, right? It's an instruction. Everybody's got free will. You can go around and be a shithead if you want, right? But how's that going to work out for you? You know what I'm saying? So it's like, it's basically an instruction on how to live, on basics. You know, if you cause loss, you need to make a man whole again. You know what I'm saying? You need to make amends for things you do wrong, you know, or you need to fulfill certain duties, you know, in life. That's just how you become the best version of yourself. But you don't need a fucking state. You don't need a government. And you don't need some hoity-toity church with a priest wearing a funny hat telling you, you know, all this stuff. Because it's right there it's all written down in the original version, the unedited version, right? June 5th, 2021 was the first anti-religious scripture study. Wow. $6,000 or more for an original 1560 Bible. Yeah, right? Yeah. Don't need to kiss a ring either. Exactly. You know, it even, like, when it says in there that, you know, go pray or go talk to the Creator, and you know, and then in the same line or passage it'll say, and then you know, the Creator or Yehovah knows what you want before you even say it. So why would you need a church? You know what I'm saying? Why do you need the church? Why do you need to give money to the church? You don't. You just don't. King James was well known for belief in God-given royal supremacy and had his own Bible written, but people read that shit. Exactly. Save yourself, everyone, and if some magical man comes along to help, that will be a bonus. But it's, well... Ooh, doggy. Look at these comments. Phones are open, 888-248, or 888-2848. I can't fucking talk. The number's on the screen. 848-222-2480. People always fight because they interpret scriptures differently. Exactly, Nachiketa. Because there's different translations. And so somebody grows up reading one translation and they're like, no, it says this. And somebody else grows up reading another one and they're like, no, it says this. Meanwhile, they're both probably wrong. You know? So it's weird. That's why I don't like arguing with people over religion. I really don't, you know. I'm never gonna like be in an argument or a debate about it. I don't mind discussing it now. I used to not even talk about it, but now I'll discuss it. Now that I've been actually reading scripture and I'm learning it, it actually makes it interesting to talk about. But I'm never engaging in any sort of argument about it is totally pointless. Hermeneutics got people fucked up. Hermeneutics? Yeah. Told to create... Yeah, exactly. Just more division. Yeah. Yeah, even if they have the same translations, they will argue about it. That's why I say I'm like, you know, there's as many different interpretations of the Bible as there are people who read it. Everybody's going to get something different. And what's even weird is I will go back and read something I already read and get something different from it. Like, it's really sort of brilliant and fascinating text in that way. As long as you're trying to go back and go look at the original way it was written. I really miss Rob Skiba. Yeah. I know. Is this it?
Hi.
Oh yeah, look at this thing. Speaking of Rob Skiba, it's kind of sad, but look at this. Should I play it, David? This is AI, you guys. This is how scary AI is. Look at this.
Hi, everyone, and Karen B. AI Rob Skiba here from the great beyond. I can't begin to tell you all how excited I am to be here in spirit right here in Las Vegas. I know you are all sad that I have moved on.
He was messing around with the AI stuff.
It's pretty friggin' cool here. I'm sure Karen has some great stuff in store for all of you. And I'm not going to miss a single moment of it. No, I'm not going to be outside with half of you smoking weed in between speakers because I do not want to miss a single moment of it. Just know that I am watching all of you, so don't do anything you don't want me to see. Cheers, everyone, and keep it flat.
Worse than the translations in the Doctrine and Theology. I know. R.I.P. Rob. Okay, I'm gonna go refresh coffee. I'll be right back. Alright, I'm back. Nailed his voice. How did Rob Skiba pass Nachiketa? He was murdered by the protocol. Billingtano, no, I don't. I don't need any encouragement to keep drinking so much coffee. It should be harder for me to get coffee, not easier. It also does Straw Man Dan. Oh, let me play that Straw Man Dan one. Can I play that? Can I play that? because that was funny. Looking in the wrong chat.
Hello everyone, Strawman Dan here, and before I start, I just want to tell you all about what is by far my favourite app of all time. Yes, you guessed it, it's the Flat Earth, Sun, Moon and Zodiac Clock app. I know, for years I have been anti-Flat Earth with my highly edited weekly anti-Flat Earth scripted rants, but after downloading this app, wow, I'm blown away. Earth is a horizontal level plane and I'm a complete douchebag. I'm sorry.
And I'm a complete douchebag. And I'm a complete douchebag.
Earth scripted rants, but after downloading this app, wow, I'm blown away. Earth is a horizontal level plane and I'm a complete douchebag.
Earth is a horizontal level plane and I'm a complete douchebag. Yeah, he got sick. They did the protocol on him, and he passed. It's sad, dude. It's sad because he was obviously a pretty healthy guy. He went to the gym. He worked out. He was active. Like, it's clear. It's clear that the protocol that they were using was just offing people left and right. And then they would be counted as a you-know-what-ski thingy. Expire. Of Owen Benjamin. Send me scripts for Strawman Dan and I'll make them. I think he had like a flu. Okay, because here's what happened. There was a Take on the World conference, right? It's like the Christian geocentric conference. And he was there, Rick was there, there was a bunch of people there that went to this conference. I think it was in Ohio. And it was right before Flattoberfest 2021. Right? Because Rob died literally right before that, right around that time. So this conference happened in 2021, but earlier in the year, in Ohio, and a bunch of people left that conference and got sick. Like, I don't know what happened. I don't know if there was, I wasn't there. But a lot of people got really sick after this conference, and Rob was one of them. And I don't know if it turned into pneumonia or the bacterial pneumonia, whatever. But anyway, I don't know the details. I don't want to make any assumptions, but he ended up going to the hospital, and they put him on a ventilator. They gave him remdesivir, and he was on that ventilator for 40 days or something like that, over 40 days, and then he passed away. And it was a fucking tragedy. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. Right? But they had this protocol. They were pushing it, and all of these death trap hospitals, they all started doing the same thing at the same time. I mean, you guys, we all saw it happen real time. Remember when it was okay, so we're just past the 3-year anniversary of it happening, right? So it was March 11th. I remember 3/11. That's when they started shutting down the sports. They shut down basketball. they started shutting everything down. I was like, oh, okay, they're shutting shit down? Like, they're not playing. And we watched it. Then all the hospitals, they started, remember, they were like canceling the hospital, everything, like any normal sort of appointment, all that shit went to remote. You know, if you didn't have to go to the hospital, you weren't, they basically kicked everything out of the hospital that wasn't a COVID thing, right? And then they wouldn't let anybody into the hospital to see what's going on in the hospital, right? Remember how fishy that was? And then they had the testing outside. They had their compartmentalization thing set up to a T from the get-go. They were ready, man. They had their testing their testing tents that had to stay outside in the parking lot, outside of all of the hospitals, right? And then, so you go and you get your test and then you drive home. You don't go inside, so you can't even go in to verify that there's all these sick people taking over all the hospital beds, right? And the nurses are overworked and, oh, it's so horrible inside and all the dead bodies, right? Supposedly that was going on because nobody was allowed to go in there. And then you have these whistleblower nurses coming out about them, you know, putting everybody on ventilators and people trying to rip the ventilators off and no, give them this. I mean, there are so many facets to how they were so ready to set it up and they had it so nobody could do or say anything. Nobody could, you know, and then the dancing nurses on TikTok and then all of the propaganda about the heroes and the blah, blah, blah. I mean, crazy shit, right? We watched it happen. We watched them do it. And they removed the family and the loved ones out of advocating for the patient, right? They used it as an excuse so that your loved ones can't be there. You're like at the mercy of the hospital. There's this deadly virus, which, by the way, didn't we just, we were just reading a story that was talking about that bullshit. What do you call it? This one, right? The lethal Ebola virus. But what did they say? Like the death percentage of this one is 88%, right? But then COVID is like 1.1, if you even believe that, right? That's just people, I mean, it's the flu. So, shutting everything down. Exactly. Right? And before that, and that was 2020, right? And right in the very beginning, weren't we saying, careful you don't get, I know, Jack. I know. By the way, follow me on Rumble. Follow me on Rumble. Because if things get shut down here, just know that I am streaming there now. As well as Rockfin, Facebook. I used to stream to Twitch, but Twitch has like got shut down here recently. Like I can't stream there and I don't know why. It just won't even hook up. And then I go inside my channel, it doesn't have any warnings or strikes or anything. It just won't do it. They were dying by the 00 ones, right? Use sneaky terms. But it's true though, right? So then they had all the dancing nurses and all of the, you know, and before they even had the antidote, right? The antidote ready for the poison, which is really what it is, because virus. Let's look at the etymology of virus. Poisonous substance. That's the root word of virus. Virus means poison. Poison. So, poison of sap of plants, slimy liquid, a potent juice. Okay, that's what virus means, literally. So before they even had the antidote to their poison, because that's what it is, because we do get poisoned in this environment that we're living in. That's why it's important to eat clean and detox and know how to do detoxes and clean your system out and all that stuff. And know that when your excretory organs are excreting stuff, that's a good thing. Let them excrete it, get it out, and it's expelling toxins, expelling stuff that is non-self. So, before they had the antidote to their poison, we were all telling everybody, don't take it, don't let them put that in you. Because we already knew for years that all of the antidotes that they offer up and the ones that they mandate for people, right? That they mandate for children to have these certain antidotes before they can even go into their state indoctrination camps and get brainwashed. I mean, it's disgusting when you think about it. When you say it for what it really is, we were telling everybody not to do it. And then fast forward, and it's like they already had this stuff made. They had been making it the whole time. Oh, this is for this, strain of poison, and this one's for that strain of poison. Well, how did you even know if they weren't even around yet? You can't preemptively make an antidote for something that you don't even know exists. And so anyway, now it's all coming out, especially if you go on Twitter, right? Twitter, there's a lot of accounts on Twitter, and they are just hammering about the lies of Pfizer and the company and how they knew everything that was going on. They knew all of it. They knew everything that it did before they mandated it and injected it into everybody. There's just no ifs, ands, or buts about it. So the fact that there is still a mandate on the United States, I mean, how do you still have a mandate for something when you're sitting here over here arguing about how many people have died from it, yet you're still requiring it of people? Like, what kind of sadistic, sick world do we live in? I mean, if you think about it too much, it can get to you really bad. I don't even want to focus on this stuff too much, because even with me, I'm just like, it makes me sick. But, one thing I am thankful for is that I knew, that most of us were aware about it. We knew the patterns already before it all started. So a lot of us were able to get through it without falling for it. Okay. Like, I get it. And it also woke up a lot of people. It brought a lot of people to us. Okay. So that's great. And I also think that, now these people, even if some people woke up after they had, agreed to get the antidote, now they can know not to do it anymore. They're learning how to detox from it. There's ways to recover yourself from it, to detox that stuff out of your system. I mean, now, there's ways around it. There's ways to make it through. But man, hindsight being 2020, just think about all of the stuff that's gone on over the last 3 years, like how it all went down. They had their compartmentalization set up. They had their news, the media, propaganda machine, well-oiled machine, feeding it all the stuff from the little machine in the back from the AP News, right? Telling them what stories to run. And then, of course, then they have the influence over all of the social media platforms. And then they were telling all the social media platforms what they could and could not talk about. And that's another thing that's really good about the Twitter files, is that there's actual evidence for people to see that the government was telling Twitter how to censor. That's the government hindering free speech by proxy through these social platforms, and like I was saying before, they hide behind that veil about how it's a privately owned company, so we can censor what we want. Well, yeah, you can, but when it's the government, clearly the government is influencing those choices, and it's documented. Well, then that's the government restricting free speech behind the veil of these social media platforms, which is what's going on. You know, it happens here on YouTube. It happens on Facebook. It used to happen on Twitter. Right now, Twitter is like wild, wild west. You could say whatever you want there. It's actually kind of cool and interesting now. But you're still getting really heavily censored on places like Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. Those three are the main ones, you know, and that's all being influenced by the government, right? And Big Pharma, who, if you look at these people in government who have these positions in Congress and whatnot, and then they'll be married to these big pharma executives, right? Like, look at Fauci. I mean, they're all intertwined together. All of these people, you know, and they're all making backdoor deals, and they're all just, you know, making each other millions and millions, billions of dollars, you know, off of the pain and suffering of the regular people. I just lost a second relative that died suddenly. I tried to warn him back in 2020. He didn't listen. Well, I'm so sorry about that, Matrix 1. Later, Jack. Interesting that all of the PPE and PCR tests was being shipped and delivered all across the plane. And right now, and the PCR tests, that was a huge DNA collection. They were collecting DNA. It literally said on these quote unquote PCR tests, the things that they were sending people to swab their mouths with, that's how they collect DNA. That's literally how they do it. Which is why a lot of us were refusing to take the test too. I mean, you know, they're collecting your DNA. What are they doing with that? No one knows. Learning how to manipulate you with more antidotes. Learning how to change, you know, make it they're using it to see, you know, what's going to jive, what's not going to jive, what's going to be accepted by the majority of people, what's going to be rejected by the majority of people. I think they collect your DNA so they can learn how to pinpoint certain weaknesses and exploit them and trigger lifelong dis-ease in people and make them lifelong big pharma customers. I mean, seriously, what else would it be? I mean, to think about it, having to inject anything inside of you for health, like, what is that? They can drug test you too from it. Yep. Does anybody want to call in? 848-222-2480, by the way. Yeah, anyway, it's kind of crazy. So, like Naomi Wolf. Naomi is like, she's been really, really hammering against this. See, she's talking about the Geneva Bible and Genesis. She's reading it. I might listen to that later. But she's been tweeting, like, you know, she runs the Daily Clout, and they released that Pfizer document analysis where they took a whole team of people and they analyzed all the Pfizer documents that basically proves that they knew about every single side effect. They knew about deaths. They knew about the miscarriages. They knew about all of it. All of it. So anyway, there's a lot of people talking about that. Now, the whole like terrain theory versus germ theory takes a back seat to this right now. And I'm okay with that. Mostly because as long as people get the hint that they should not be letting themselves be injected with this stuff anymore. mRNA vaccines' impact on pregnancy and fertility. That was she's tweeted a lot of stuff about this. I mean, so many babies died I talked about that before. But anyway, they knew about all of it. But it's okay. It is. It's all part of like the eugenics thing that started back in the 40s and 50s, and then people didn't like the term eugenics, and then it got branded as something else. It got branded as I don't know, like then that's where the whole like environment protection came out, right? Because you can't sit there and say, well, there's too many of you, so we're going to make it so there's not so many of you. You know, they had to make people okay with it. And that is where the whole save the environment bullshit came out of, right? It was save the environment because there's too many humans and the humans are damaging the natural environment. And that is where the whole depopulation thing started. It all goes hand in hand. That's why they're still pushing their global warming bullshit, their climate agenda bullshit, hand in hand with it, because, you know, they want you to think that the world's overpopulated and you're all disgusting and you're hanging out on wet markets, making out with bats, and then you're spreading disease everywhere. Like, seriously, that's all goes back to all that stuff that they've been doing this whole time. I sent you a pic of Ezekiel's vision with a flat earth and it's in your messenger. Okay. Oh, look at that. So, what is this? The vision of Ezekiel. Look at this, the hammered plate. Is this the plate on top? And then, is that supposed to be Creator? And this is the heavens, the Shemaim. Oh, here we go. The whirlwind that came out of the north of Akilo, the great cloud, the fire wrapped about, the brightness about it, the likeness of amber or a pale color, the form of the four, what is that? Beasts? Their feet like Kalu's feet, hands coming out from under their wings. Their two wings which cover their bodies, pyre running among the beasts, wheels having eerie, one of four faces. The rings of the wheels which are full of eyes. Is this like the angels? Isn't that what the angels were supposed to look like? The firmament like into crystal. Ooh, the firmament is crystal. The throne which was set upon the firmament, where face, what is this word? Face like the appearance of a man. The appearance of amber above the bench of the man, the fire about him. Cool. Oh, I see. It's all labeled. I wonder if I can, copy. Do it like this. Copy. There we go. So S, the firmament, like unto crystal. Interesting. Yeah, man. That's what's up. It's the plate. It's a flat plate. Makes sense, though. Right? And those wheels are Ezekiel wheels. Emerald Boar. Fun fact, if you get a PCR test, you can get matter from 2 locations. The nose a second from where the sun shine. The shine does not shine. Aquila is super interesting in this. What's Aquila? The whirlwind that came out of the north, or Aquila. Aquilon? Aquilonia? The whirlwind that came out of the north. Do you think that could be from, like, within the north? Like, where the, whatchamacallits are? The Northern Lights. Aquila is the eagle. Well, you can see there's a firmament type thing below also that makes it a cylinder type shape. Yeah. Right? That's a really cool image. What is the XX? X, the appearance of amber above and beneath the man. Is that like the golden glow? The appearance of amber. That's interesting. And Z, the brightness of fire like a rainbow. Where's Z? Z. Z. I don't see Z. Y. X. Y. N. I don't see where Z is. Interestingly enough. Do you guys see Z? Because I don't. Brightness of fire like the rainbow. Interesting. Mike DeGroy discovered the firmament at the bottom of the sea. The day after he talked about it, he died in a plane crash. Talking about that guy who went on that, what do you call it? Submarine, that little submarine where he's talking about going and he goes down to the bottom of the ocean and he finds like another layer, like it's a different density of a lake. They talk about that in that Megalodon movie. I wonder if it's... I looked up an Ezekiel wheel because I didn't know what it means. Well, why don't I look one up too? Let's see. What is an Ezekiel wheel? Oh, it's like a sundial. It's just a wheel. Or is it one that goes both ways? Very interesting. Hey, Eagle Research. This is, what's his name? So this is an Ezekiel wheel. It's got eyeballs all around. Oh, look at this. It's almost Saturnian looking, right? Interesting. This one's got the zodiac on it. Ezekiel's vision of wheels explained, realms and dimensions. Oh, I see. A wheel within a wheel. I wonder if it's an allegory of the 4 fixed stars that mark the season, 4 angels. Well, if you consider it 4 angles, and then the stars are at 4 different angles throughout the seasons, right? Yep. Yeah. Very fascinating. So what's this? Throne of glory in the center. Firmament, abyss. North, south, east, west. Oh! This is interesting. Look at this. It's like a tetrahedron. Oh, I like this so much. Chariot Shaddai, the appearance or the glory of. Central column. Fascinating. See what I'm saying though? How this is like a tetrahedron? It's like this. Right? Well, this is an octahedron. Octohedron. Tetrahedron has 3, octahedron's 4. Octahedron. Like this. Right? And this is a platonic solid. This is a shape that fluorite comes in. Right? That's the shape that fluorite comes in. It's this same thing. So I just find that very interesting. Octahedron, not tetra. Below is the dark water and above is the chaotic water, and we need protection from both. Yeah. It's interesting. But then how does this fit inside the Kabbalah? Cami, you know, we really need some time alone. Just saying.
Great Pyramid, as far as I know, there were no slaves. How do I think the pyramids were built? To be honest, I have no answer to that question. And anybody who tells you that he or she knows how the pyramids were built are not telling the truth, because we don't know. We don't know. The Great Pyramid contains a number of mysteries. The Great Pyramid, first of all, is very big. The Great Pyramid weighs 6 million tons. We can calculate that from its mass. It weighs 6 million tons. Some people will say to you, oh, the Great Pyramid was built by slaves. That is utter bullshit. No slaves were ever involved in the construction of the Great Pyramid. As far as I know, there were no slaves in Old Kingdom Egypt whatsoever.
What? How can you say there were no slaves in Old Kingdom Egypt, bro? It talks about it in the Bible. How is this guy gonna say Research flat Earth. I don't agree with the share, but whatever. Creates a mirror shape beneath. I don't know. Okay, look, they could have built the pyramids using geopolymer, whatever. There's a bunch of different ways. Like, I don't know. Oh, calm man addressed the straw man down on his latest video. Did he? That's hilarious. Metaphysically, the geometry that pyramids make energetically, from what I've learned, octahedron. Well, yeah, okay, like if you look at the octahedron, just the top of it is a pyramid, right? The top is a pyramid. So, this is a natural shape that certain crystalline materials will form into, all by themselves without any encouragement from man, right? So basically, in my opinion, you know, whenever we're building something, we're just imitating creation, right? We learn how to build by looking at creation. So, you know, and there's a lot of pyramid-shaped mountains, and, you know, it's my opinion that a lot of these pyramid-shaped mountains are just naturally formed in a pyramidal shape because that's one of the platonic solids, and it's one of the most prominent shapes in nature. There's lots of, I find rocks all the time that are squares, cubes, rectangles, triangles, pyramid shaped, and it's because it's a platonic solid shape. It's one of the most common crystal habits. So it's just how the realm works. It's one of the building blocks of the realm. Now, so pyramids are just a copy of that, if we do it right. Geopolymer my ass. You don't think pyramids were building with geopolymer? Why not? I'm curious why you don't think so, Ben, because I feel like there's a lot of evidence that a lot of these old things were geopolymer and that they just have been weathered down over the years with the external, you know, with the natural elements, and then they get that really weathered look, and then that's when all the people come around behind it and say, oh, look, it's a melted brick building. It got melted. What's that mean, arsenical copper? Cut marks all over the pyramids and of arsenical copper. I mean, they could have just cut the stone. I think that's possible too, because that's what people don't get, is like you just have to get your tool in a crack and just hammer it down the same crack and it will split right on a cleave line. Yeah, grab your phone. I don't think it's necessarily unknown, though, like he says, that we don't know. I think there's a few different things that could have happened. Could they have used frequencies to elevate those pyramids into the size they are? I mean, I don't know. There was a really cool video that I was watching about some guy, and he was running frequencies through granite. Cammy sent it to me, and then I started binge watching all of his videos. So, I mean, granite, the way that he was doing it, he was putting an electrical charge through the granite, and then it was easily pushed over water because of the vibration of it. Oh, there's Ben. Hey, Ben, how's it going?
Hey, Karen, how you doing?
All right.
Yeah, I don't disagree with the pushing the blocks over water or anything like that. That I'm not. How they were moved is entirely,
right,
up to conjecture. But if you so my friend Jeffrey lives in Egypt, and he does studies on this, and part of his studies include where it's actual samples taken from the pyramids and things like that have been chemically analyzed, because he's got this whole thing where his theory is that the pyramids were actually chemical refineries. and that's what their primary use was. And after going over and studying the pyramids themselves, and then working with a Russian team that very illegally, but they're Russians. Russians got big balls. Illegally took massive amounts of samples from the pyramids and went and had them analyzed. So some of these things where they've been saying shit like the staining on the walls is bat shit and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
It's absolutely not bat shit. And some of the things that they're finding in these analysis are just absolutely insane. Like they're finding like isolated elements like thorium, which thorium is super interesting because if you want to enrich like radioactive elements, thorium takes and switches a neutron, so that way it's able, and it'll transfer neutrons, so that way it's capable of holding more protons. Because the way atomic weight goes is everything's just based on the proton, and then it's assumed that there's as many electrons as there is protons once it's a stable molecule. But the neutrons is where it makes it so it can hold more. And when they're like enriching like radium and radon and all that up to uranium, and it's transitioning through these different elements, it's because they've added neutrons, and they do that with thorium. Anyways, when a bunch of these analyses come out of these cut marks that are pretty distinct on the pyramids. On the Great Pyramid itself, they aren't as distinct at this point, but the casing was all removed from it and used to make buildings in the United Arab Emirates over in Dubai. So when you look into these cut marks and you take samples out of them, there's a thing called arsenical copper, which is an alloy. And this is one of the things that I really like to look at and study, because back then, despite how we supposedly have so much more knowledge than now, they were using alloys that we can't even replicate today. We still have never seen some of these metals. And arsenical copper is where copper normally is super soft. We all are pretty aware of the properties of copper. It's a very common metal. Well, when you make an alloy with it and mix arsenic, then it hardens this to the state of where it's harder than steel.
Really?
And yep. And in these cut marks, they find it where what looks like a cut mark. So the geopolymers all find, and if it was a geopolymer, why is it that when you go and look at all the blocks, they're different shapes, different sizes? What somebody just like didn't know how to make a mold?
Yeah, man, I don't know. I'm just talking. If you were pouring the bricks, you would pour them fairly uniform. That's just the way people do it. They make a mold and then punch out a whole bunch of them. Yeah.
Well, you look at the pyramid, they're misshapen. They aren't the same size.
But they must have some sort of.
A lot of people try saying there isn't mortar in.
I was going to say, what about mortar? What about how they make them stick together? They would have had to use something, right, to make them stick together, or what?
They used mortar.
Yeah.
They used mortar.
Okay.
Yeah, that's just like a weird myth that people say that there's not mortar. Like, again, my friend Jeffrey just yesterday was, because again he lives in Egypt, was standing at the pyramid, walked over to the bricks, and you could see it right there. And now, granted, the mortar's old enough that it's basically stone, but it's distinctly different than the stone of the bricks.
Mm-hmm.
And it's in between all those bricks, and he walks up and he smacks it with his finger, and like, a lot of these people go and say this shit, and they never have actually been to the pyramids, or they don't actually put any analysis into anything or do any testing. So that geopolymer story is real easy to spit out, but does it make sense? Not really. And does it match anything found at the pyramids? No.
Fascinating.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. The things that he's finding that these guys are finding in the chemical analysis, absolutely fascinating. Where each of these different pyramids is holding different things, and you can see where the way that they're set up. Some of these from the inside, when you look at the inside of them and you lay it out, it's just a basic damn chemistry, like distillation setup on some of these. You're like, what?
Yeah, I remember watching something about that like years ago. I mean, years ago. I was in probably like junior high or high school, and I remember watching a thing when way back when there was like the very first iteration of like the Science Channel, and they had a thing on the pyramids, and it was talking about how they weren't what do you call it, tombs. They were saying that they were energy. They said that they were generating energy, and it even showed little animations of like water flowing, and I forget everything it said because it was so fucking long ago, and it was like before I even had the you know, the wherewithal to like sort of try to retain anything of what they were saying. I was just watching it and I thought it was interesting. But it was like, I remember seeing these little animations about something with the water and certain things with those angled tubes that are not tubes, but you know, those passageways that are on the side of the pyramid. And like there was something that happened, and then and then it was talking about light shooting out of the top of it, like the Luxor in Las Vegas. Now I don't know if that's really what happened, but it definitely was talking about them being some sort of energy plant or something. And it did seem like alchemical in nature. Now that I think about it, obviously, because they're just like mixing certain things inside the pyramid to create whatever they're doing. I don't know.
Right. And everybody's been going with just the straight energy thing because somebody spit that out as an alternative, and like that alternative is damn near the mainstream now. Where this is literally the land of chem. Like, this is where supposedly chemistry was born. Why would we not look at these as chemical factories? How's that get skipped?
Well, it probably didn't get skipped. It got buried. That's probably what happened.
Right. So this guy's work is absolutely brilliant. Like I said, they have actual chemical analysis, and these analyses are insane. And some of the other work that he's going through, and he goes through all the pyramids. Like, he's putting it all together. It's absolutely phenomenal.
Yeah, that's really interesting shit, man.
It really is. Everybody should check him out. His name's Jeffrey Drum. It's Land of Chem, CHEM, like chemistry, where, you know, supposedly we're the birthplace of chemistry, that they were doing chemistry. It's in their main buildings were chemistry. It's a amazing theory. It's kind of on the nose. So, yeah, and everybody should go check that out. He actually goes around and he does tours. So he's got, I believe, September of this year. Obviously, I'm not going, but apparently September is when he decided to do it this year. But he's got tours, and his tours are like you spend days inside the pyramids. You aren't just jumping in and out. You're actually investigating things. He's showing you super cool things like where conduits were, and all these things that they don't talk about. There's sites that aren't even on the tours that other people don't go to. Really interesting.
Yeah, it is fascinating.
And if you get that 1560 Geneva Bible, if you get an original copy, I definitely want to see it. They wanted $6,000 for it, so those two pictures are all I got from it. But because you know you can't really thumb through a $6,000 book, they don't like that.
Right. Oh, that's from the Geneva Bible. Those pictures you sent me. I didn't realize that.
What's that? That's from the 1560 Geneva Bible.
Yeah, because this Bible, it's like supposed to have like illustrations and translations and like all kinds of extra notes.
Yep, you're looking at some of them. That's and super fascinating. And like I said, while the plane, and this is part of when I give my presentation, that's what I talk about. The plane that we live on is, yes, flat, but then when you look at what's representing the firmament, them like little hash marks or whatever, that goes all the way down and around. You know, which makes absolute sense. Why would it be just flat with a dome top and just like that? That particular shape doesn't really make sense. So when we're looking at it, and when you look at any occult works, pretty much all of them, we're talking a dark water and a light water or a chaos water, and both these things are too much for us. And we live where those two things met. That's where life formed. Like as a heathen, it's Niflheim and Muspelheim, fire and ice. One side's too chaotic, one side's too icy. We can't live, and too dense and solid, we can't live in either one. We live in the in-between. And on that little plane in between, that's where we live.
Yeah, the Goldilocks zone.
So, pretty neat. Yes. Yes, just right.
Exactly.
All right, Karen. I will let you go.
All right, thanks for calling, Ben.
And you betcha. We love you guys. Talk to you later.
Later. Ben Balderson, the bomb. Yes, they did, Alex Javier. What's the website you're looking at? Let's see, what website? Which one? So, this one here with the... I just started searching arsenical copper because I wanted to see examples of it, and this live auctioneers thing came up where it says 10th century Persian Ghaznavid arsenical copper mace head. This is a mace head, so this is like a weapon. Like they had this on the end of a chain, and they was bashing people's skulls with that thing apparently. So that's interesting, right? See sold price. Oh, they're not going to show me unless I give them my information. And I don't want to do that. But look at these old metal pieces that they've got here. It's interesting, the stuff they've got. So anyway, I just wanted to see what it looked like. So this is just some auction website. Yeah, I just searched arsenical copper because I wanted to see. So here's Christie's. Let's see. 2 Mesopotamian arsenical copper bulls. $112,000. Woo, doggy! 2 Mesopotamian arsenical copper bulls, early dynastic period. Go away. Circa early to mid 3rd millennium BC. Each solid cast depicted standing foursquare with head facing forward with thick muscular body. Blah blah blah. So, some sculptures, some old bull sculptures. Mesopotamian, here we go. Mesopotamia, now this is, you know, if you're talking about Mesopotamia and Persia, we're talking about Middle East, right? This is all the same area, Egypt, right? Biblical area. So Mesopotamian arsenical copper axe heads. So here you go. They were making axe heads, which is a weapon, chopping with arsenical copper. Looks like it's in pretty good shape too, for being that old. Wow. crescent-shaped blade with a sharp curving edge, shaft surmounted by a raised protrusion, 4 lozenges along the top of a cylindrical shaft with a straight and triangular edge framing the shaft hole. Sumerian cuneiform inscription on the blade reading Su Batir, son of Lgi, Igi, governor of Batir. So, wow. So it had the inscription is, I don't know if that's the owner or who they served, like who the army belonged to, maybe. Interesting. See, they don't even teach you about arsenical copper. They talk about the Bronze Age and the Stone Age and in the Copper Age, but they don't tell you that you can take a copper and mix it with another metal, well, or with arsenic, and it make it harder than steel. They don't fucking tell you that. So that's freaking interesting. Double axe head made of arsenical copper. And look at these, how they still seem to be in pretty good form for being as old as they are. Look at this. Pre-Columbian copper arsenic weapons, Tahaderis, whatever that is. They certainly never talk about that shit, do they? That's interesting. Master alloys. Copper arsenic. Very interesting. Yep, they don't talk about exactly. That's weird. You know, it's the same reason they keep all this shit, right? They keep all the cool info out of the hands of the plebes, right? It's like anything about magnetism, like teaching people about that, electricity, magnetism, the electric thing, how electricity works. All that stuff, they leave that completely out. They leave out, and they leave out this. These are like really, you know, as I sit here thinking about it, man, these are like really important these are key pieces of information, man. They really know. When you figure certain stuff out, you're just like, man, I know why they hid that shit. That's what I'm saying, Nachiketa. Look at the properties of arsenical copper. That's why it's interesting, because I'd never heard of it. Hey, Beat Freaks. Shout out to the Beat Freaks. I'm a flat earther. Way better than steel and iron weapons found. That's what's tripping me out. Just like looking at the pictures. Like, let's like find ancient... I want to find, because I feel like the pictures of other stuff I've seen, it all looks like withered away shit, right? So yeah, so here. Iron doesn't just iron alone does not hold up as well. Like, see this? Weapons, iron daggers, iron swords, bronze. So like how this is what I'm used to seeing. Like it looks broken. Like you can't even, you know what I'm saying? Like it looks like it'll just fall apart. It's so weird. But then this other stuff, like this thing, it looks like you could just put it on a wheel and sharpen it and just start using that fucking thing again. You know what I'm saying? Like that's crazy. That's crazy. I find that highly fascinating. Right? So like you show them these old weapons that aren't made of alloy, which I'm sure people use. Just like there's cheap, just even today, there's cheap knives and there's expensive knives, right? Like I'm sure it was the same back then. They had the cheap knives that would rot away. And then there's the expensive ones that are made of a good alloy that will last a long time, right? So it's like, it really makes sense that they would hide something like that. So then go, oh, look at the people back then. They didn't know how to do shit. Look at their weapons are all old and decrepit. They waste away. But that's such a trip. Like, look at this axe. I've seen, because there's this channel on YouTube, and it's like a guy, he's like a blacksmith, and he'll take old axe heads that have been left outside that people find, right? Like, he'll just show you this like nasty, rusted axe where you're like, just throw that shit away, right? And the guy takes it and he cleans it all off and he polishes it and he sharpens it and puts a new handle on it. And it's like, ching ching, it's all bling bling, bling bling. Look, I'm a new axe. I feel like you could do that. Like, he could do that with this thing from like a couple thousand years ago, where you wouldn't be able to do it with this stuff. It's really fascinating. Ancient steel weapons. These held up better. But even like bronze, okay, bronze is copper. Like, what is bronze? Bronze is copper mixed with something else, right? It's bronze. I can't remember what it is. Bronze is an alloy consisting primarily of copper, with about 12 to 12.5% of tin, and with the addition of other metals and sometimes non-metals, such as phosphorus, metalloids, or such as arsenic or silicon. Okay, so it does mention arsenic, but it doesn't talk about, but they call it the Bronze Age. I wonder, I don't know. Why is bronze, No, bronze is talked about in scripture. Maybe it's the conductivity of it. I don't know. I just find this stuff interesting. Oxidation only affects the outer surface of steel. Rust ain't no thing to take off, just looks crappy. The pyramids being chemical plants helps explain a purpose for all the other similar facilities close up by up and down the Nile. But if a knife company used this arsenical copper, which is better than all the top steel alloy people will buy for sure. And then arsenic, like, here's the other thing. When arsenic is binded with copper, does it come out? Like, if you use an arsenic copper knife to cut your food, you're not putting arsenic in your food, are you? You know what I'm saying? Merkaba. Look up Merkaba. Yeah, the Merkaba is a stellated tetrahedron. It's the three-sided one. Okay, so I was saying tetrahedron earlier when I saw that picture, but it's octahedron. Octo is 8, right? So it's four-sided pyramid butted up to each other, so that's 8 sides. A tetrahedron has 3. It's just 3 sides. So the Merkaba is 2 3-sided tetrahedrons, see right here, inverted or stellated to each other. I don't know why they have a stupid globe inside of that one, but they do. Apple seeds have arsenic in them. And then Dodecahedron, that's the one with the pentagonal sides. The 20 sides of pentagons. Yep. Interesting. Well, so if they're able to make a metal that's harder than steel, that's all it takes to start carving stone, because you just have to crack it right on the right spot, on the cleave spot. And then if you know how different types of stone and where their marks, where their axes are in the way that they formed, well, then you can just, you know what I mean. You can just give it a crack on that cleave line. I thought I had saved guess not. I'm gonna say I thought I had saved a video of that, but I don't know. I don't have it. But we can just look it up like this. I gotta be careful, because here, like this one. See, what he's doing is he's got these little pegs, and he just starts hammering them into that stone, right? Along a certain axis. And then once you get it split enough, far in there, it'll just break open. See? Like, this is how, that's how they do. Oof, I don't wanna. There's a bunch of videos like this too. Here, this one. This one I like. So he's got these pins, these, I don't know, spikes, that he's slowly worked into the side of the rock with manpower, right? I mean, I love these videos because these people, they're still doing it the same way. They still split rock. There's no heavy machinery involved. And this is just knowing where the rock, where those bonds are in the rock. Look at that. That's split it right in half. I love this one. Wait, hold on. Oh, it doesn't let you scrub through it. Anyway, the very end, when there's like that very split second when all those pins are like hanging in midair, when the rock goes apart and they're just like hanging there and then they go bloop. I love it. Feathers and wedges. The cleave, yeah. That's how they make the perfect lines when they're cutting them. Like, a lot of the times you don't even have to have a tool. You just cut that stone on the right spot and it will split and leave you a sheer face. Now, this one is not perfectly, straight, because this rock is obviously not, it's just not, it's however it formed, it's not, its bonds are not perfectly aligned, right? It's not a highly organized. It's organized, but it's not highly organized to the point where it's following those very straight crystal bonds, right? But it's still going to have a bond, and it's still going to have an access in that bond somewhere where you're going to be able to split the rock. It just won't split in a straight line. It depends on, you know, the rock you're cutting. Link. I want to see the little pins hang there for a second. It trips me out. Love it. Anyway. No, that one's not a perfect line. But if it was a piece of rock or something that had a better bond, like if it was more like only one material, you'd be able to split it. Like, let's see. There was others where they've done it the same. Just look up videos. Just type in splitting stone by hand. And there's a lot of people who do it. They'll find big boulders and they will crack them. How to split wall blocks and bricks. Here you go. Well, these are wall blocks. These are built bricks. That's not the same. My bad. Me malo. But if you look around, I don't want to get a copyright strike. Dude, that when I played that Belinda Carlisle video, even with the sound off, they claimed my whole video. They're like, all the revenue goes to Belinda. I was like, okay. Jesus. It's like, anyway. Stone splitting. Here we go. Let's look at this. That's a real stone, right? So here's this guy. He's cracking it, cracking it, cracking it, cracking it. Let's just fast forward because this one takes a while. So is he picking up his things because he split it? Anyway, so he splits this, and then that's when they come in with the big thing. And you can see, okay, this is a good example right here where he split a pretty straight line on that rock. Right? That's pretty straight. And like I said, it depends on the rock that you're working with. So this is granite. This is probably why and in fact, that could be why they chose to use granite to build a lot of these things, because granite is easy to split in these semi-smooth shapes pretty easily. So now he's got a smaller block and he's hammering at the block on all sides, right? He flips it over. He just keeps rotating it, giving it a crack. Oops. There, and he split it right there. So anyway, that's probably how they did it. I mean, it's not different. It doesn't really change. Am I? Oh, thank you, Cammy. They had to make very fast planes. Even engines endured lengthening. Why can't... Okay. Smashed his bucket. Yeah. What is the main type of crystals you find in Caroland? Quartz. Hands down. quartz, all kinds of quartz, smoky quartz, clear quartz, white quartz, sometimes milky quartz, mostly, and sometimes black tourmaline. The initial cut probably isn't to size it. Yeah, exactly. So anyway, oh, another call. Hey, Ben.
Hello again, Karen. Yes. So if you look, there's all kinds of metals outside of this that we don't even know what the fuck they were, like orichalcum. Like that was supposedly covered entire cities, like supposedly like one of the most grand things ever, and we don't even know what it is. If you look up like Newton's the net is a specific alloy that when you read the story of the net is where Venus has an affair on her husband, and her husband comes home, finds her with Mars, and then he puts them up into the corner of a room in this net. The whole thing is specifically just a sequence in order to make this very important alloy that we don't even use. That the whole thing with Vulcan is white fire. So when you're making that specific alloy, in order to make it so they can bond, because your typical metal is a very stable molecule, so it doesn't really want to bind with anything else. So you have to get it hot enough in order to break apart that molecule a little bit, so that way it wants to bind to another molecule. This is no different than like with cannabis. You can't just walk up to the cannabis plant and pick it off the plant and eat it. It's not psychoactive. Well, that's because there's a carbon blocking that molecule that needs to be decarbonated, and then now this is now an unstable molecule that wants to bind with your cannabinoid receptor. It's no different in making an alloy. You've just got to break apart this molecule so it will want to bind with a different molecule. And with this one, it's iron and copper. And when they bind together, they make an alloy called the net, which is a purple metal that has these little diamond shapes all through it that make it look like a net that just naturally appear. And he binds them up into the corner of the room with that. Now, when I look at iron and copper, these are your two metals from your heart, your Venus and your Mars. And there's a cavitation that's happening inside there. So I'm wondering if that isn't something that maybe it's basically a upgrade from what the outside of our heart is. It's holding in this energetic force and then dispersing it. I don't know. Nobody tests these things because we don't talk about these alloys that were made that were super important. I would conjecture that like the Iliad and things like that, some of these metals that they even list, because if you ever read those stories, they're real specific about the metals and the gems that are incorporated into their weaponry and into their armaments. And some of it doesn't even make sense because you would think this is a fairly soft metal. The same as we're told with, copper. Who would ever use a copper weapon until you learn about arsenical copper, right? So they're very, very specific in which heroes have what inside of their armaments. And I would say that given what we don't know today, there's probably a whole lot missing, and we should really be looking at those kind of stories in their original text to see what kind of metals they were dealing with and what kind of alloys we could be looking at.
Yeah, absolutely. I can't find anything about Newton's alloy, or what is it? Nets? Newton?
It's called the net. It's called the net. It's from a Roman story where Vulcan comes home and finds Venus and Mars having an affair. And Cupid's there. There's a famous painting about it also. Cupid's there. Seems like one other god, maybe.
Vignette. How do you spell vignette?
It's just like you would think the net. Hold on, let me go grab my telephone.
I keep trying different spellings and I can't get it to. There's like. Oh, Vinet. Maybe there's two ends. Images for Vinet Alloway.
Here we go. Well, here's the chemistry portion of it, anyways. Set. Homunculus, the alchemical creation of little people with great powers. I have to read that later. I sent you the chemistry portion of it. I'm looking for just the tail now.
The net. The net. This purple alloy of metallic antimony and copper appears in many of Newton's chemical notes along with detailed recipes. Refining antimony from stibnite by means of iron and then adding copper. Oh, and it's talking about Vulcan and everything over here. Okay, like you were saying. The net. The net.
Yeah, because and the thing with Vulcan is when you look at it, so when you start replacing these things, when you read the story, what you have to do is replace Mars with iron, Venus with copper, got to add in some Cupid, and then you have to do it at a specific heat, which is Vulcan, which is white fire. Entirely different than your normal flame of fire where you're trying to get the metal to hold its integrity. You're trying to actually break apart the metal's integrity, and that way it will molecularly structure with another molecule. And I sent you another article that's more of that. Has a nice Illuminati pyramid on the front with an eye and all that.
Interesting. Okay, yeah. Purple alloy with a net-like lattice pattern on its surface. The myth in question deals with Vulcan catching his wife Venus in bed with the god Mars. As punishment, he hangs the adulterous purple couple from the ceiling by a net for all to see. Vulcan is fire, Venus is copper, and Mars is iron. So you use fire and iron to produce antimony regulus, then combine it with copper. The resulting purple alloy has a crystalline structure that gives it a net-like surface pattern. That's crazy.
And you can take and do this with all these stories in that. And there's so many secrets that they were using that we don't use. Like, what is the net even used for? So I would conjecture again that the rest of that is also in the story, that the net specifically held the iron and the copper, which we use in any generator in the world, where you throw an electrical current through the iron, get it to magnetize, the magnetic field hits the copper throws it sideways, we generate power.
That's
what were they doing?
Yeah. Fascinating.
Right. So I just wanted to throw that in there also. And if you look at the Merkaba you were talking about before that, when you look at my Tree of Life, when the snakehead bites the tail during my presentation, and I'm going to have this animated next time, when the snakehead comes around and bites the tail, that's what it makes, is the Merkaba. It just is where the top and the bottom meet, where you have now, just like in alchemy, completed the great work. You've put the highest sulfur side with the lowest salt side together. You've married them together and made it one thing. So, anyways, I'll let you go.
All right, thank you.
Again.
All right, talk to you
Love
later.
you, Karen.
Love you too.
Later.
Bye. Isn't that fascinating? It's so interesting, man. We just don't know what we don't know. Aircraft aluminum is 7075, which is used in applications of auto racing. Newly discovered Pebble Beach by my house has lots of quartz. All the sacred geometry shapes are there. I'm thinking, oh, Cammie, that sounds nice. Yes. At what angle do you get the pyramid shapes? Well, the pyramids are a series of a bunch of smaller blocks that have been placed into the shape of a pyramid. I don't know that the blocks themselves are actually like angled. And then they had an outer covering. I know I'm super late, but my boss crashed a car into machinery due to brake failure. I'm in the ER right now. I've definitely got a case of the Mondays. Oh shit. Are you okay? Some of the 8 or 9 sites along the Nile north and south of Giza have structures made of solid quartz. Others are quarries. Yeah. And quartz is an amplifier. Copper, antimony. Yeah. Fascinating stuff. You know, I mean, I love stuff like this because this is so much cooler, you guys, than saying, oh, some mystical, magical race was here before us and they were advanced and they knew everything. They were the benevolent rulers and they built all this stuff and it was all a lie. Everything's a lie. Like, this is way cooler to me. This is way more interesting because this is what we need to be doing. We need to be uncovering how they used to do things. They uncovered the hidden knowledge. You know, I feel like we've all been raised, you know, with like the Common Core that they put in schools, you know, for No Child Left Behind. What that really is like the severe dumbing down of America. Oh, Common Core, we're going to make it easy for all of you to understand and keep you all stupid, right? Like, seriously? That's been going on for obviously eons because there's really cool knowledge in these different types of alloys. I'm sure once you combine them, whatever the properties are of the metals, it changes the properties. You get new properties in the new alloy that you make. You know, that is real knowledge, real working, real world knowledge, you know, that can help us, you know, make our lives better, uncover what's really going on, get a better understanding of how this realm works, rather than saying, you know, Antiquitech. Like, this is real Antiquitech, right? It's the stuff, it's not technology like we know what it is today. It's different. It's ancient. It's basic. It's organic. It's something not like we know today. Our version of technology, I think, is like a bastardized, way more difficult version of ancient technology. That's what I think. Like, it's like the roundabout, long, stupid way to do something rather than the way that you should be doing it. If that makes any sense. I hope that makes sense. With things like this, we take back control and quit waiting for the greater ones. Right, Ben? That's what's up. Take back control and stop waiting for the greater. Stop waiting for someone to save you. Gain the knowledge. Knowledge is power. Boom. That's what's up. And it's 1:11. And on that note, I'm going to end the show. I want to thank you all for being here with me on another fine moon day. It was a really good time. Very interesting topics. Thank you. Thank you for serious. Why are you frozen? I'm not frozen. Refresh. I heard Rockfin's being glitchy. So thank you all for being here with me again on a coffee talk. It was good to have you all here. Yeah. Remember.
Vegas, baby, Vegas!
Vegas. Save the date. All right. Save the date. Let me play it one more time. I'll play my my YouTube ad. Cheers, y'all.
Get the fuck out of Dodge, man. We're going to Vegas.
What are you talking about, Vegas?
Vegas?
Vegas.
Vegas, Las Vegas.
I'm not going to no Vegas.
Yeah, I think, you know what, man? We're going to go to Vegas and...
When are we going to Vegas?
Vegas, baby, Vegas. Get pumped.
We're gonna give Daddy the Rain Man suite. Do you dig that? We're going to Vegas, Mike. Vegas! You think we get there by midnight? Honey, we're gonna be up 500 by midnight.
Vegas! 500 flat earthers. Ha ha ha. 500.
Vegas, baby, Vegas!
And for those who wish to send me stuff through snail mail, you can send it to P.O. Box 10, Earl, North Carolina, 28038. There are also links below for Flat Earth merch, and you can send me donations, and I do appreciate all the support. Sincerely, thank you very much. Also, please go to flatearthfestivals.com for all information about upcoming Flattoberfests and Flat Earth-friendly local meetups. If you are organizing a local Flat Earth meetup, email me at flatearthfestivals@protonmail.com with your meetup information to have it listed on the website for free. For everything else, you can email me at karenbfe@protonmail.com. Thank you for being here.